What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
I said piece because this is, I would say, potentially more than a piece of pop culture.
In that it's less than a piece. It's like a fraction of a piece.
Oh, maybe it's that too. Maybe it's half of a piece of pop culture. But also it is a lot of culture and a fair amount of pop as well. But
it's both greater than a whole and less than a whole at the same time.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
It's Schrodinger's pop culture.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about, what is this thing again? Oh, yeah, Dune.
Dune.
Hey, that's the first time you did it right.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Also, I think you'll find that if you look at the title splash of this movie, it's Dune Part 1.
Yeah,
Will they let me take my Dune ticket into the next Dune and get in for free? Because my ticket just says Dune.
Imagine
also,
if you could.
That would be so cool.
Imagine.
I've already lost it, but yeah.
Well, mine's digital, so actually that's not true. I watched it at home. Imagine, if you would, that this movie was the only Dune Part 1, and there was never a Part 2. Something that was certainly possible as of yesterday.
They haven't made it yet, so we'll see.
I mean, it was just greenlit, right? I think that was the big Dune news.
No, that's the guy who made it.
Keep going. 10 more.
I legitimately can't say that man's name. Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, that's it.
I say it very wrong. I just say it with confidence.
Ah, that's cool. Nando, what about you? How do you say it?
Villeneuve? I don't know. I kind of say it the way I say people's names that I don't know, where I say it and then just kind of trail off at the end because I don't know what it is. You know? I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. I was at a Target and I saw a guy that was definitely not, but kind of, looked like, I mean, this is a super niche internet micro celebrity, but either of you guys know Ify Nwaiwe or whatever his name is?
I do know him, yes.
Yeah. So I saw a guy and I was like, DJ, do you?
I don't. I'm sorry.
You watched Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun, right?
Yes.
Remember how the queen brings 2 Queen's cards with her, and one's like a big giant black guy who takes his shirt off and like jiggles his pecs around? So it's him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just like one of those funny guys who does funny internet tweets, and like he's a streamer. I think he writes for Apex Legends now. And you see him on some of the College Humor stuff every so often. But anyway, so
he's also
saw a guy
friends with Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, get out! Really?
They did like a short film together
or something.
They did like a short film together before Timothy Chalamet was famous, and they've just
got uber famous. Oh, that's cool. How down to earth of Timothy Chalamet.
So
Timothy Chalamet also maybe has a secret Xbox modding YouTube channel.
I saw that. What is that? Is it real?
I don't know. It's not confirmed. It's pure speculation, but the evidence is compelling. Anyway,
this is a rabbit hole I kind of want to go down now. No,
anyway,
let Nando finish his story, and then we'll talk about Timothy Chalamet's secret Xbox modding channel.
The end of the story is I saw the guy and I was like, that kind of looks like that Ify guy, but A, I'm sure he lives in California or something, and then B, I wouldn't say anything to him or anything unless I heard him speak, and I was like, that's him. I actually, like, I can 100% verify that sounds like him. And then I was like, what would I say to him that would be like, hey, oh my gosh, are you? And then I was like, I don't know exactly how to pronounce his last name, so I think I would just say, are you Ify Nwaiwe? And then, like, he would go, that is what my name is. Because he'd know it's close. And he doesn't know I'm wrong. But I'm probably wrong. So I'm, like, kind of cutting my losses there, you know? I'm what's the word? Playing both sides, I guess? And that's how I would do Denis Villeneuve. He's, like, French-Canadian, right? Or something?
Yeah, he's Canadian, so...
Love it.
Is he even
that's something
real?
You two have in common.
That's true.
Yeah.
Am I even real?
No,
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet, character Michael Caine has been doing on this show since the beginning. No one's actually ever seen actual
Don't
DJ
tell
because
them.
it's just. Well, I figured it's time now, right? Because you said it. I was like, oh, he's coming out as like.
Oh,
Michael
I
Caine.
was joking. Come on, Nando. You know how much I love to tell jokes.
That's
Anyway,
true. You are a jokester.
I'm going to Thanos moon deflect to, hey, Timothée Chalamet has an Xbox modding YouTube channel?
Oh, yeah.
This is like a real thing? Is this like a thing?
Yeah. A security expert who investigates war crimes got the scoop.
Okay. What's the evidence besides the ring finger looking similar?
The ring finger looks similar. The voice sounds similar. Timothée Chalamet's official YouTube channel has liked some of the videos.
Okay.
I'm reading the article right now.
Is it like this guy who does these mods never shows his face?
He does not. No.
That's pretty, yeah. That's a lot. Because, like, the guy could be like, I'm not Timothée Chalamet, look. But if he's not Timothée Chalamet, the incentive structure is for people to think that he is. So there's no reason he would ever show his face.
Well, this thing doesn't exist anymore, right? Like this.
Oh.
It's not like this guy is still going making bazillions of dollars on YouTube. This is something that would have happened a long time ago and has not, like, doesn't happen anymore. From what I understand. Which I feel like then it kind of. Oh, what were you saying?
We've got a childhood photo here of Timothée Chalamet sitting on the same chair that's in these YouTube videos.
Oh wow, that's really compelling evidence.
See, here's my thing. My one tick against it is Timothée Chalamet. I don't know what his face looked like back then, but he has a Hollywood actor face. I feel like you want to throw the goods out there, you know? That would help you get more views. I mean, maybe that's why it didn't really take off.
Well,
but I feel like
he wanted the stars to really be the modded 360 controllers.
He's selfless like that.
He's such a good guy. I appreciate it. I mean, I think a lot of people probably did have some weird thing like this. Like a lot of like famous, you know, people have some strange thing that they did, like a little internet hobby. I mean, now, like if you looked at this maybe 40 years ago, there wouldn't, you know, be like a video of Vin Diesel, let's say, playing Dungeons & Dragons as a child, right? But if he existed now as a child, those videos would exist. So,
yeah,
like,
it's true.
Timothée Chalamet's right on the cusp of, like, people who had the internet when they were young that are famous now, and we can kind of go back and find stuff. So, it's kind of fun.
Timothée Chalamet has admitted to it. He's admitted it is his channel.
That's cool. Not a conspiracy at all, then. That almost makes it not fun, but whatever.
Well, he admitted after this hard-hitting investigation cornered him.
I was going to say, by the way, so the article you linked was by Vice, and I appreciate that Vice can run the news gambit from, is Havana syndrome not actually a real thing and actually a big old hoax, to did Timothée Chalamet secretly mod Xbox controllers on YouTube, 10 years ago. I love that Vice just has every corner of news covered, no matter how silly, but also all the serious stuff.
Man, we saw a real bad case of Havana syndrome this weekend, didn't we, fellas?
Oh my god, it was...
Got him. I feel like this makes me like Timothée Chalamet like a bazillion times more, this story.
Oh, really?
I really
Okay.
like him and want him to succeed. Yeah, kind of. Because, like, that's so cool.
It's so cool.
He's so cool.
He's, like, probably not such a weirdo, or he is a weirdo, but he's, like, my kind of weirdo. So that's nice.
I want my Hollywood celebrities to be modding Xbox 360's controller as children to show how relatable and down to earth they are.
Yeah, I feel like most Hollywood celebrities, like Zendaya, for instance, since she's in this interview with them, like if I sat down with Zendaya and I was like, like we were stuck in an elevator together, I feel like I'd talk to her about like Spider-Man or whatever, or I'd try. And then she'd be like, yeah, cool. But like Timothée Chalamet, I feel like I could talk to him a lot about different video games because apparently that's something he's very passionate about. So that's nice. I like that.
He's a regular Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
Well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of it.
What's the story with the ring finger?
Oh, he has a scar.
The same?
He has a distinctive scar on his ring finger.
From a modding accident?
Yep.
Most likely dropped
his hand got stuck in a Rogue 360 controller that almost took his head off.
Almost gobbled him up. Nom nom.
Yeah. What an interesting little thing we learned about Timothée Chalamet. Cool kid. Tim, if you want to come on the podcast to just talk about Xbox stuff, you're more than welcome.
I would love that. We wouldn't ask you a single Hollywood question unless you wanted to talk about it. Although, like, I don't know that I could do an interview without Timothy Chalamet and not ask him about the peach stuff.
Well, we wouldn't ask him about that. But
did you fuck the peach? Was that real?
Yeah.
I just like, I don't like, and call a spade, right? Like, Call Me by Your Name is like a really good movie. But all I want to do is talk about the peach fucking.
I mean,
Timothy Chalamet, if you want to come on here and have an interview about Havana syndrome, please, our emails are open. Our DMs open.
Do you have strong thoughts on Havana syndrome and how it's totally not real?
Timothy Chalamet, if you want to come on, not this podcast, but like my YouTube or something, and just talk about Xbox stuff and get away from these two
cutting us out. Cutting us out.
I just want him to have a cool, fun interview where he talks about Xbox, and you guys want to turn it into the political, sexual story of the year or something. And I just don't want to do that. Also, I haven't seen Call Me by Your Name, so I don't have anything to add.
You should watch it. It's a good movie.
As soon as there's a hint of fame, Nando just slices those coattails right off.
Seriously.
Exactly. Listen,
and Diggins, to be fair, we've been riding them pretty hard. Like, we have been riding those coattails.
I have like a part-time home here on these coattails.
Nando v Movies, in parentheses, and Diggins.
Wait, what's the thing you just shared in the chat, DJ?
Oh, it's just something I wanted to share with you guys.
Oh, okay. I read it.
It's about DJ's favorite person.
It is.
It's my favorite person.
Oh, when I read it, I thought it was about this favorite person and some collaboration with the celebrity The Weeknd. The Weeknd's halftime show at this baseball game now includes this other person. That didn't make any sense to me. That's why I figured I'd ask.
No, I just felt like sharing that, and now no one will know. I'm definitely just going to cut this part out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we wouldn't want to get political on this podcast for the first time ever.
It's crazy that Trump's just going to go to a baseball game. Like, what?
Where is it?
It's Atlanta.
Listen, they let team owners go to baseball games. There's no moral standard.
If they own the team, it makes
but they're
sense.
also really bad people.
Atlanta
really
feels
bad
like
people.
a weird place for him to go. He's not popular in Atlanta.
He's just going to talk about how the election got stolen from him.
Yeah, that's just because of the far left Democrats had rigged the election and had a bunch of people vote who shouldn't be allowed to vote. So if you only look at the people who should be allowed to vote, then he's very popular in Georgia.
Well, that's fair, but also on my, critical race theory Antifa message board, we have said that there's plans that I just saw because I didn't know about this before to fill the stadium with Antifas to boo him, because obviously the real Atlanteans would never do that, but he would, that's probably what's going to happen.
I have like a weird jacked up theory. So two things. I can't believe we're here. So number one, there was like a controversy because like the Braves are, one of those super racist team names. And they have like this horrible thing called like a tomahawk chop. Which like they like at like a 90-degree angle, just like pretend like they're throwing a tomahawk, and it's awful. And like the commissioner of baseball was like, we're not changing the name. The community's totally good with it, so we're not changing it. So I bet he was just like, oh, culture war. Let me get in on this. Also, like weird. I don't know, it's like a nitpick, but the Atlanta Braves don't actually play in Atlanta. They play in Cobb County, which is like a super white suburb of outer Atlanta. Because again, the team's super racist. So yeah, fucking, you love to see it. There you go. Your little piece of baseball trivia on today's episode of Mostly Critical Race Theory.
Great stuff.
Oh God.
Speaking of
critical race theory?
Speaking of the whitest person in the world going to a place where they may not be super popular.
Hey.
Do you want to talk about a movie that came out this year? And it came out this week, in fact.
Yeah.
Although it came out like a month ago in Australia or some shit, which I don't understand. I'll never understand international releases.
I would love to talk about it, but I didn't think you guys had seen The French Dispatch.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen it? Is it out yet?
No. It's out in New York, so I could see it.
Nice.
I was going to try and make like a similar joke with like The Last Night in Soho.
I know. I want to see that.
Me too. We should do it for the pod.
Nah. Well, maybe. Actually, you know what? It's a horror movie with like all kinds of nonsense, so it might actually be kind of fun to pick apart. I I've watched her sing the Downtown song a couple times. It keeps coming up on my Twitter.
Yeah.
Is Anya Taylor-Joy also a singer? Like, secretly? Is that part of her?
Secretly? I don't know if she's secretly a singer.
Like,
I think she sings. I don't know. I assume she can do everything. She's awesome.
I am tone deaf, and pretty much anybody could sing, and I would not be able to tell if it was good or not.
Anybody, Diggins?
Almost anybody.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was trying to think of the punchline there, but it's not there.
I mean, that's why it would have been cool if we did karaoke then, yet less the other days, because it would have been, you would have been fooled into
Was that on the table?
I brought the microphone.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we talked about it multiple times, DJ.
I was like using the microphone for a while just to speak because I thought it was funny.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that was after I took 3 edibles. My bad. I was like,
Unfortunately, Havana syndrome got in the way. We weren't able to, to do karaoke.
Is that the new? Oh, that's what we should just talk about at the wedding. That should be like the secret code. It should be Havana like, syndrome. Oh man, that Havana syndrome at the bachelor party was just crazy.
I think that's a good idea.
There might be Havana syndrome at the wedding if we're not careful.
There's a lot. I mean,
who knows who will fire microwaves at us to make us sick or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Could be anyone.
I mean, I was planning on doing that.
Oh, you monster. We'll find out, though. We always know when it's Havana syndrome. 1000% of the time.
DJ is obsessed with Havana syndrome.
Do you guys think that in Dune there was any kind of Havana syndrome?
The native Arakeen were Havana syndroming Duke Leto and his men because they didn't want them there.
What about when Timothy Chalamet put his hand in that box? Was that not Havana syndrome?
No, that was Twitter.
Diggins, be honest, was that your joke or did you steal that?
I saw it on Twitter.
I knew it. I knew. Not that I don't think you're capable of that joke, but that seems like a self-aware Twitter joke that'd be like, oh, an opportunity for us to talk about how bad we are. Yeah.
You can admit it, DJ. I'm a hack. I'm not funny or creative or clever.
Stop it. How dare you? I think you're
the
funny.
real joke
this
now
podcast,
is that you would...
This podcast has gotten way worse since I came on it. Am I right? Everybody, leave a comment on this podcast letting us know how much worse it's been since I joined.
All right, everyone, leave a gift. A gift. You do a gift.
Leave a gift.
Or a gift, yeah.
Leave some cookies and milk out for mostly nitpicking.
If you if you think Diggins is unfunny and the podcast got worse, leave a gif of Havana syndrome. And if you think he's the best person ever, leave a gif of...
Call Me By Your Name.
Call Me By Your Name. That's a good one.
Of Timothy Chalamet fucking that peach and Call Me By Your Name.
All right, real quick, I gotta make this joke because it's great. Has anyone made the mashup of him putting his hand in the controller with an Xbox tutorial? Or putting his hand in the box and then he just like shows Xbox parts out?
That would be so good.
Because it's his hands in both.
That's how he got the scar.
Yeah.
It goes out of the box.
What's the box called? I can't remember.
The box does not have a name, but the test in general is called the Gom Jabbar.
Oh, okay.
There is not a name, place, person, anything in this movie I can tell you the name of. When I refer to people in this movie, it will be by their actual birth human name of the actor, and the place will be described as palace, sand place, or ship.
You're out of your mind, DJ. You know some names.
Oh, man.
We'll see as we go through.
DJ, you can pretend right here, right now on the podcast, you don't remember the name of Jason Momoa's character.
Oh, well, that's easy. It's Duncan. It's Duncan. I just can't remember the last name.
That's half of it.
Yep.
DJ,
they don't
really,
say the last name.
Forgotten? They super do.
One time, maybe. Not as much as you were claiming they might say it because you're obsessed with his name. They're not nearly. They don't deliver on that promise.
I'm not obsessed with his name. I'm actually kind of surprised at how much of a meme it's become because I didn't think it was that silly.
It's so silly. It's very, very silly.
What is it for the DJs who in the room who don't know what the adults are talking about?
It's Duncan San Diego.
Duncan San Diego. It's
no,
so
Montana.
Nando, come on. It's Duncan, North Dakota.
Yeah.
Oh, Duncan, North Dakota. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's very silly because... we'll talk about the thing. I won last week, by the way. Ooh, so I get to do the IMDb.
Yeah, you got a good week to be the judge. Or a terrible week, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to be the judge and then die heroically, right?
Oh.
Isn't that what the judge does? Anyway.
Yes, the judge of the change.
Yeah. All right. I have the IMDb summary for Dune up. Okay, you guys. We had Dune 2021, directed by Denis Villeneuve, written by a bunch of people. Eric Roth, that guy, the guy just said, and then John
Eli Roth.
Spathis. It stars. So many stars, man. It's got maybe more stars than any movie ever.
Don't look up in the sky, because all the stars are here.
Yeah, you got Polka Dot Man as Peter
Capaldi.
Yeah, very good.
Peter
in this.
DeVries.
And then some other people were also in this movie. Guys,
we should probably say
the IMDb summary is.
Sorry, before we get there, I was probably going to say like full spoilers, right? Because we could say anything at any moment. We already talked about the box. I'm sure there'll be a thing about, certain creatures. Like, I feel like we're in spoiler territory for a 50-year-old book.
As the only person in this podcast who has read the book that this movie is based on, I may even spoil parts of that book that are not in this movie.
That's fair. I'm ready for it.
Okay, as long as they're not things that will be in the next movie.
Yeah, then I'll be
You're
so
talking
angry.
about things that we skipped, right?
I will not spoil that unless it's like really important for a thing I'm talking about, and I will give a warning if I do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I'll know to go away.
All right, you guys.
All right, so I've stalled
all those guys, Polka Dot Man and his friends. Guys, what do you think the IMDb summary for Dune is? I believe Diggins lost last week, so he gets to pick if he wants to go first or second.
That's correct.
I do get to. I've been on a real cold streak lately. I am gonna go first.
Okay.
Okay.
Take it away.
Young Paul Atreides, Timothée Chalamet, must discover his destiny when shadowy forces under his family's fierce rival, the Baron Harkonnen, Stellan Skarsgård, seek to destroy his father, Duke Leto, Oscar Isaac.
Okay, DJ.
That was terrible. I lost this so bad.
No, I can still blow it, Diggins. I can still super blow it. All right, I'm going to take a slightly different approach because I want to be different. Okay. Based on the epic sci-fi novel, part one of this two-part epic tale of the story of Paul Atreides, who must save his family by braving the vast desert planet of insert planet name here because I don't know it. And yeah, I'm gonna do end there.
Wow. If you're gonna wait. If you're gonna base this off of saying the name of the planet, then I'm just gonna append Arrakis to the end of mine because I know it and DJ doesn't.
I would love to, but I can't because that's not part of it. You guys both did not do good jobs. However, DJ
Frank Herbert. I'm also going to say the name Frank Herbert.
Too late. DJ.
How did I win?
DJ won. Here's why you won. I'll read it to you.
Okay.
And I'm surprised, honestly, of the one thing both of you left out that is, the main
Zendaya
thing.
Is Michi.
No, come on. Like,
he's the Kwisatz Haderach.
Nope. The other important thing about this movie.
That the spice must flow.
Yeah,
Josh.
Why are they on Arrakis?
Okay.
But okay, here we go. This is why DJ won. Feature adaptation of Frank Herbert's science fiction novel about the son of a noble family entrusted with the protection of the most valuable asset and most vital element in the galaxy.
So I won it just saying based off the novel?
Yep. DJ, you
I'll
got
take
that
it.
part right.
I'll fucking take it.
But the both of you, besides that, both of you just kind of said family. There were no names. No places. If any of you had mentioned spice, that would have done it because that is like most of what this is about.
And I'm a gosh darn fool.
The other thing I was waiting for was some sort of like you both said like it's a family or like there's these people, but like the son of a noble family, like that kind of thing. I think if that was in there and felt like it was, because it does have that like these are the richest people ever. That would have sealed it for you, but. I think it's an accurate IMDb summary, but this movie's about a lot of things.
Yeah, the spice was really that we both left that out as kind of a
it's tricky.
Kind of a party foul there. So,
but
DJ, I'm a moron. What's your excuse?
But DJ forgot what it was called. He thought it was just called Red Spark Sand.
Yeah, dust.
So he didn't want to embarrass himself.
I thought Desert Planet really sealed it up.
The really incredible thing about that, DJ, is an acceptable name for that planet, as it's kind of a colloquial nickname for it, is in fact Dune.
That's
Is it
right.
really?
It does say my Dune at one point.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, God, this movie, man.
But
you can't.
DJ, you won.
I do get to go first. How fun.
Congratulations.
Okay. So I'm going to preface this with I did not see this in a movie theater. I saw it on HBO Max on my TV. And I will say, I think it gave me a superior viewing experience. Because...
Well, was Michelle taking a meeting during it?
No, she didn't take a meeting.
What a
Because
mistake.
you still refuse to apologize to the witch. That's why it was
Believe
a
it or not,
superior viewing experience.
The dog actually took a beating, believe it or not.
Oh, my God.
Fucking dog. So... I found it beneficial because I was able to, like, when I was done watching, go back and be like, all right, wait, what the hell? And I was able to watch scenes. I was able to go back and go to specific parts because without that, I would have been just so lost. And I think just, like, the ability to consume it, like, once and then immediately piecemeal to see, like, what was going on was very helpful because I was so lost during the movie. Now, that being said, I think this movie is very, very good. And I think it's a credit to Mr. that he was able to make a movie that is about so fucking much and is also, like, nothing happens in this movie, but it's so beautiful and the costumes are so good and he's really good at fleshing out a world in, like, a macro and micro sense that it makes the movie work and also not boring because you kind of understand what the political stakes are. But like, in terms of, like, what was going on, I was so lost. But I'm like, it looks pretty. What was that?
I wish you could see my face when you said nothing happens in this movie.
I kind of think nothing happens in this movie. Like, you know, like, the IMDb summary could be, boy loses family, boy goes to dust planet, and, like, that's it. That's like the whole thing.
Wow.
I'm just saying, in terms of the fact that this is, like, the first half of, like, a full 5-hour movie, and it doesn't have a complete arc. It's not like a knock. I think it just is. But it's so stunning to watch and has, like, really good actors. That's, like, one of the things I wasn't really ready for. Like, the movie had stars, of course, but they're all, like, really good actors. Like, even Josh Brolin's, like, 15 minutes of screen time is all great. Like, same thing with Jason Momoa's and all the, like, ancillary actors, like, everyone's really, really good. So, like, the movie, if I'm, like, rating, like, the screenplay and the, like, writing of the movie is, like, fine, but everything else, like, the set direction, the costumes, cinematography, the acting, the lighting, like, everything else is, like, an A+++++. So it brings the whole movie up. That's how I experienced it. Never read the book. Michelle was like, I now have to read the book because she just felt like she didn't watch the deep dive with me. She took a meeting, so I was just like, when I was, like, watching the stuff back and stuff like that.
She did take a meeting.
Yeah, but, like, you know, afterwards. But she's like, I have to read the book, and I can understand that reaction from someone who just has, and even like me, who has no familiarity with any of the source material, the world, or anything. It's hard to just, like, deep dive in. But, like, I don't know, to the movie's credit, it doesn't do, I'm talking a lot, I'll stop soon. It doesn't do, like, the narration of, like, we're gonna just give you exposition for 20 minutes. It kind of, like, slowly builds into it. So, like, it's good. It's really, really good. I just don't think anything, like, happens. So, or, like, maybe a fair way to say it, or more accurate way to say it, is that there's no full narrative arc. There's, like, the beginning of an arc. So, yeah. That's my feeling of Dune.
Fascinating. Diggins,
Thank
what about you?
Well, as previously stated, I am the only person on this podcast who has read Dune. Admittedly, I read it this year. I'd always been kind of interested in it, but I just never had the time. And then I knew the movie was coming out this year, so I was like, well, I got to do that before it comes out. So I can...
You got to Dune it.
I can be obnoxious about it to everyone, like, oh, well, if you'd read the book, you would understand that was, you know, that sort of thing, which I'll be doing all podcasts long.
Raises index finger to bridge of nose to push glasses up onto face.
Which a thing I do frequently because my glasses are getting old and they're a little loose on my face. Anyway, So I felt that I was rather impressed by how it made a famously very weird and dense book pretty comprehensible on screen. Like, I understand that if you haven't read the book, you don't have the background, it's throwing a lot of nouns at you and it can be hard to follow. But man, it is so easy to imagine a version of this movie that is not hard to follow, but impenetrable because of the sheer density of concepts that are only ever explained via context clues, which you only have in the book because you're getting, your viewpoint character's entire thought process about something. So it becomes much easier to kind of divine what something is supposed to be based on how they're thinking about it, which, of course, does not exist in a film unless you want to do weird, like, narration voiceover, which I believe the 1984 movie chose to do. So I was impressed at how relatively easy to follow it was. And then also, I do truly loved the look of Denis Villeneuve's movies. I think he has a very interesting eye. It's a very stark, almost sterile kind of look, but I think it works for this sort of sci-fi movie that he likes to make for, your Arrivals, your Blade Runner 2049s, and now your Dunes. I think it lends it a kind of distinctive, almost alien edge that really complements the material. I did feel there was a lot of distance from the characters in this, where it's like the movie doesn't really bring you in to them. They're at a remove from us, which I don't think is bad. It's just a choice that I noticed, where it's like, which is interesting in contrast from the book, where again you're always getting it from viewpoint characters. You're always keenly aware of what these characters are thinking and feeling. But overall, I think it worked. And like you said, there's like this incredible production design, cinematography that just, I think, having the themes from Dune, the work that it faithfully and competently replicated, the look of it, the relative digestibility of the concepts, the way it translated those on screen, I think, and like Nando said, don't look up at the sky, all the stars are here. The acting talent, just incredible. We got to see some Oscar Isaac ass, which who can complain?
Yeah, that butt. Oh,
who can
God.
complain? Stellan Skarsgård as just a freaky little man, just a disgusting pile of fat as a person.
That whole family's just like full of freaks in like a good way. Like, I love it.
Yeah,
freaks come out at night.
So I was very pleased with it as an adaptation. I am looking forward to more of it. I don't regret my 2020 prediction of Dune as the next big thing. I'm definitely wrong because it's not taking the world by storm, but I like it a lot.
Nice. I agree. I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
I liked all the parts of it.
That's good.
To piggyback on Diggins' thing, boy, this is Hunkapalooza 2021. every hunk you could possibly imagine. The water hunk, Jason Momoa. The space hunk, Thanos, whatever his name is, Josh Brolin.
Gurney
the
Halleck.
Earth hunk of Apocalypse's own Oscar Isaac.
Leto Atreides.
He's also a space hunk.
That's true.
It's because Star Wars, right?
That's true. And he's also whatever Moon Knight is. Moon Knight is like a sand adjacent character. He's an Egyptian figure, so sand hunk. And also the James Bond one, the air hunk of God, what is his name? The guy with the big air gun from No Country for Old Men. All four of the elements
Javier
of hunk
Bardem.
assembled. Yeah, Javier Bardem is the air hunk.
As Stilgar. And also, how is he not the desert hunk, considering he's a Fremen?
Yeah, I'm thinking like outside of this context, what hunk are they? So he is the hunk of the air. Josh Brolin is the hunk of space. The space isn't an element. Do we have a fire hunk? Which one is fire? Batista, can he be the fire hunk?
It's hard because I guess Dune is like a desert planet, and it's like it gets so hot. But
I'm thinking of from other movies. Like, are any of them involved in fire in another movie in a way that's interesting? Because you could also make Batista the space hunk, because he is from, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Everyone's just a space hunk. If you're a hunk, it's space. It's just
That's true. We're all technically in space, so all 5 of the space hunks are here. No, I thought it was fun. I like this movie. I think it was a little much in terms of like stuff to learn and names and stuff. I do think it is. There were some parts, like, I don't think it's all created equally. Like, I think there's some things as concepts that were explained well enough, or I understood, like, when they're like, this is a little poison dart that flies into your room and kills you. Like, I got it. Or like any of the things that they said on the little TV, on his little tapes of how to live on Arrakis. Like, I think all that stuff's communicated pretty well. The weird little suits were good. Both of them, actually. I guess the Fremen suits and the sound devices. But then there were some other things that I think when you got into the lore that Timothée Chalamet was clearly, I'm assuming it's going to be the backbone of the second movie, where he's ex-savior or this other savior, or there's this prophecy and stuff. I think that's the part that in the first viewing went over my head. Now, I think going to see it in a theater and then just going home and watching it again with subtitles or whatever, like, that works about as well as what DJ said. I think the theater experience was cool. I think we are in a golden age of movies that are too loud, and we got to do something about that, because the movies are really good, but they're too loud.
They're so loud.
And it's not just that they're so loud, because that's also a problem. Or not, that's not a problem. That's something. Like, that's an experience. But the problem seems to come from me not knowing how much of something I'm supposed to hear. Tenet did this really badly, where they intentionally mixed the audio, like the dialogue, lower. So it was like under airplane stuff, they were having exposition talks, and you weren't supposed to completely be able to hear it. But me, a layperson watching the movie, I'm like, I'm not hearing that. I missed something important. And like, so stuff like that is just unacceptable for me. But anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, I think most of the dialogue and stuff in this is okay, and I like the scale of the sound design. But there were a bunch of parts where we were having like thoughts and like stuff was going on, and then also there were whisperings in people's heads and stuff like that. And I feel like there were some things I missed there that kind of bugged me. So seeing it with subtitles, I would recommend it to people. Like, obviously, watch it in a theater if it's safe for you. It's cool in a theater. It's a good movie. But also, go home and watch it with subtitles so you can hear what they were saying in the whispers that are where they're explaining all this plot Messiah stuff, or at least where you're getting a lot of it from. And then all the actors were good. Timothée Chalamet, my new favorite actor, was very good as the guy whose hand hurts, even though it doesn't really. Like, that was pretty good acting. And I liked how he was sad all the time and stuff, and not even sad, just like bored. Not like bored even, but just like there. I like that I like that vibe from him. Well, no, like a little Lord Fauntleroy kid who's just like, I want to go to Arrakis to like see all the culture, and then like they took him to Arrakis, and he was like, cool culture. I liked him. I liked all the guys that we were saying before. They were all very good. Rebecca Ferguson was good. Everybody was good.
Rebecca Ferguson was great, man.
She was
really good.
I don't know too much about her. Like, obviously, she's from the Mission Impossible movies, but like, I don't recognize her immediately when she's in a movie like I do all the rest of these guys. It's probably just because I haven't seen her in like some, Marvel thing. But it definitely, she was very good considering how much of the movie was just her. I was very surprised by how much it was just her and Timothée Chalamet. What else did we talk about? Oscar Isaac's butt was in there. Who else? I liked the judge. She was good. The effects were cool. I think the design of everything was great. Obviously, it was cool. I do think the movie has a weird... I've heard a lot of people say, and I kind of agree, I think it'll be more clear when we see the second part, that they may have ended this movie a little too late. Like, I think you could have ended it 20 minutes early.
Really?
Mostly because I feel like this movie ends for me, like, you get the whole, I mean, to spoil it, like the them escaping with the judge and then the two of them kind of on their own in the middle of the desert. Maybe like, a tease of the Zendaya and them going to do their stuff. But it did kind of get me in the mood for a different movie that I don't get to watch now. Or like, I feel like the midpoint of this story feels like it's him and his mom alone in the desert. And then the second half of the second act of the story is when they get picked up by the other guys. Now, I realize there's probably a time jump or something, or that will develop in a way that maybe makes it more sense to end it where they did. But I understand that criticism, and I feel like I'll have a better sense of it when I see the next movie. Also, apparently there's 3 of these coming out if they get to where Dune 1 book 1 is split into 2 movies, and then there's a 3rd movie that is the second book. That's
Dune Messiah.
Denis Villeneuve's. Yeah. As far as the themes and like stuff, I think it's interesting, but it's tough to nail down what I think about it because I haven't seen all of the themes delivered on or like the points they're making about messiahs and stuff like that. So it's hard to judge that, but I liked what they were doing. I liked how every time they looked at the sand, someone in the sound design went, I liked all that. Every time I said the word spice for the last couple of days, I imagine that word in my head when I'm like, pumpkin spice latte. Because Hans Zimmer, and maybe he's the reason the movie's too loud, but he did interesting things there. I liked how they drove little dragonflies. I like Jason Momoa. Can't stress that enough. He's great.
He is great.
Can you say Jason Momoa's character's name?
Duncan, New Hampshire? Is that him?
Yep, that's it. You nailed it.
That's him. Yeah. I just don't get it. So the movie takes place in the far future, right?
Yes, it is the future of our world.
So
now, here's the thing, DJ.
Idaho.
Here's the thing, DJ. It is not our 10,000. It is our world. It is not our 10,000 because it is the year 10,000 after the founding of the space empire, which happened 11 centuries after humans started colonizing space planets. So it's actually like
oh my god,
over 20,000 years in the future.
And we're still talking about Idaho. That is still a thing that people even kind of remember.
Just make it that year then. If you're not going to explain everything you just did, Diggins, just make it the year 21,000 or whatever.
It really doesn't matter that it's the year 21,000. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, I don't mind it either. And I do think it is like, it's got that Star Wars-y, like, it's like kind of our world, but not really. And maybe stuff's different, whatever. But it is just like that one name, Duncan, Idaho, feels so out of place. It is aggressively out of place, especially considering it is a world somewhat related to our own. So you got to figure that's the Idaho that he is named after or something. Or maybe where does the name Idaho even come from? I don't know. But it's just really weird because everybody else is like, a space name. They all have good space names, and he doesn't. But it's okay because he's the best. If he wasn't the best, his space name would be kind of silly. So let's talk about Xbox's own Timothée Chalamet as Paul Atreides. What do we think of him?
Fantastic. Thought he was really good. It's interesting that I think that, and maybe Dickens can bring some insight with his expert book knowledge that no one else can match. I love you, Dickens. But I think he had that way of bringing that kind of restraint to the screen while also seeing, like, where he inserts I really care about this. Like, Nando, what you were alluding to with I really want to go to Arrakis. And you get here and it's like, Arrakis kind of sucks. But then, near the climax of the movie, trying to, like, quote unquote, hold true to his morals, but still having to do, like, death battle. I just thought his performance was really good, especially given that, like 70% of the screen time is on him. So, like, he's carrying a lot. And I actually want to give him a lot of credit because I think there's a lot of actors that if you kind of put in that spot, they might kind of fumble the ball and not be able to, like, figure it out. So I think Timothée Chalamet was, like, a really good choice for this. I mean, I've loved him in everything. I already said Call Me By Your Name. Loved him in Little Women. So yeah, I just think he was really good for this.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts.
He does play disaffected youth very well.
Right?
Specifically the What's Her Name movies, the Greta Gerwig movies. So.
That's true.
You do a close-up on Timothée Chalamet's face, and I'm like, this boy, he's so sad, but also so thoughtful. I bet he's thinking deep thoughts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's pretty cool.
I love the way they deploy that in Lady Bird to have him be a shitty teenage boyfriend.
Yeah, he was great in that movie. I feel like I always didn't like him because his name sounded silly to me. When I just first heard about him, I was like, oh, it's this kid who's like, all the children love him and he probably sucks. But then he was good in movies, and now he's an Xbox hero, so he's my new favorite. Now, his one negative, I will give him a strike for saying that he never wants to be in a superhero movie, because I'd love to see him in one, but I'll let it slide for now. Eventually, you'll get him.
I mean, yeah, he's playing Willy Wonka, which I'm sure I'll hate.
But it's the Paddington guy, your favorite.
Oh, I love Paddington's Own.
How Paul Kings, he's directing it, so maybe it'll be cool.
Do you also give him points for his third tweet of 2021 being Dune 3, Dune, Duneinator, Dune.
Yeah, it's clutch.
That was good.
Clutch
Also, DJ, he appears to be a Yankees fan. He's got a Yankees jacket
what?
on, so
he sucks.
I love
either
him
it's
so
fashion
much more.
or it's just. I know he's from New York, or I think he went to NYU. I don't know if I'm just imagining that, but I could see a Timothy Chalamet being from New York if he's not from France or something. So you never know.
I like that he's a Yankees fan now. Now I think he's great. Even though being a Yankees fan is like the easiest thing in the world, I think it's cool. I like to imagine that he like actually knows all the players and is angry that Aaron Boone got a contract extension. That's my headcanon.
Aaron Boone, the coach.
Manager, yeah.
Manager, right, yeah. Is there a coach in baseball, or is that the
No, it's
name?
the manager. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's like very pretentious and silly, but yeah. They're a manager.
Weird.
Also, it's weird that they wear the same outfit as the players.
I love
like
that.
they got to put on a little costume to do their job.
Like I feel like the manager doesn't feel like he's not like is he managing the team? I feel like the owner is the manager who like decides who they fire.
Well, that's the general manager.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Which is a thing in baseball. There's the general manager.
And then there's like colonel manager and private manager. And all the different, like,
you go down
of,
the managers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Yankees fan, Xbox, cool kid. Does good screams, does the voice bad but good. He does all his little fancy karate. Very interesting. I don't buy this kid as someone who could do like a backflip into a sword stab thing, but he can do those. So,
well, but he has the super future power as the Kwisatz Haderach. So
yeah,
that helps.
So let's talk about that real quick because this is an important part of
please.
him. Diggins is the book person, and I know you have read Dune. Is this guy? What is the deal with all of his weird little prophecies and stuff?
What
Without,
do
like,
you
spoiling
mean by
it, just,
that
like,
question?
So I want to say there's what you said, that Kwisatz Haderach, and that's something that people call him. There's another thing that people call him that is another prophecy or something.
The Dune people
Lisan
call him,
al-Gaib.
I think. There it is.
Sure.
The Fremen call him the Lisan al-Gaib.
So what are those? Are those the same thing?
No.
Okay. What are they different? What do they mean?
Okay. So, the Kwisatz Haderach is a plan by the Bene Gesserit, the space witches, such as his mom, Lady Jessica, and the woman at the beginning who does who gives him the Gom Jabbar, Gaius Helen Moheim. The Bene Gesserit have been trying for centuries now to basically eugenics someone who has these powers who has all the Bene Gesserit powers. The Bene Gesserit have certain powers. They can use the voice, as demonstrated several times in the movie. They have limited ability to tell the future. They can tell when someone is telling the truth or not. They're kind of Jedi. They're Jedi. Or should I say Jedi are Bene Gesserit, since Dune came out before Star Wars.
Hey.
They have been trying to create the perfect, most powerful, male Bene Gesserit, because all Bene Gesserit are supposed to be female. And his name is the Kwisatz Haderach, and he will help bring about their plan for the universe, which actually, in the books I've read, is never quite made clear. Because I've only read the first one. I'm actually not that into Dune. Dune is very big and very weird. Anyway, that's the Kwisatz Haderach. The Lisan al-Gaib is a prophecy by the Fremen. Now, partially, this is something that has been deliberately seeded by the Bene Gesserit. They make vague kind of prophecies on planets, or they did thousands of years ago or whatever when they were first settled. With the intention of, if they ever find themselves on that planet and they need to rally the people to them, they know like they have a bunch of basic tropes for their prophecies. Like, if the people say this thing, then that means, you should do this, and that'll be a sign that fulfills their prophecy. But the Fremen have a very particular culture because of the uniqueness of Dune as a Arrakis, as a planet. Both its harsh atmosphere and the presence of the spice. And so that has kind of gotten away from the Bene Gesserit. It has become a kind of different thing than they were fully expecting. And the Fremen believe that he is the fulfillment of what like their prophecy has become, the Lisan al Gaib. So the Lisan al Gaib, it's like kind of ambiguous, but one could certainly view it as it's not actually mystical at all. There is no real prophecy. It's something the Bene Gesserit made up and the Fremen kind of ran with. And the fact that Paul fills all those conditions is kind of just a coincidence related to him having the Kwisatz Haderach powers.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. So, okay.
He's like a messiah. He's kind of like space, insert savior here.
Lisan al Gaib like literally means messiah.
Okay. And like, is there is he supposed to like bring about peace, or is he gonna free the Fremen? What is his promise?
He is going to lead them on a bloody jihad across the universe that will slaughter millions of people.
Cool.
Nice.
He has visions of that in the movie, and clearly does not want it to happen.
I have questions about the visions. Like, I think what Nando was alluding to, is that him being able to like tell the future, but the future is not a fixed concept. It's like a multiple branching thing that could be anything.
Exactly. Yes. He can see potential futures. It's not set in stone.
Okay. I mean, yeah, there's like one specific thing where it's like, I guess it's not deterministic, but yeah.
Okay, so and his mom is a witch.
She is a Bene Gesserit, yes.
And at one point, they're like, you can only have boys or girls, but you had a boy instead. You broke the rules, right? That's something that happens at one point.
It was supposed to be part of their breeding program to make the Kwisatz Haderach. She was supposed to have a daughter with Duke Leto, who would then be another link in the chain.
Gotcha.
But she like skipped a bunch of steps. She's like, nah, I'm just having the boy.
Well, she had a boy because her and Duke Leto actually love each other, and he really wanted a son, so she decided that she would have a son for him rather than following the Bene Gesserit plan.
I have a question.
Yes.
How is gender determined as part of the birthing process?
That's one of your Space Witch powers.
Okay. Now, what if the person decides they're a different gender? Then what?
The book was written in the 60s.
Stay woke, everyone. How can you do a gender reveal party if you don't know what it is? Stay woke. Okay, so Bene Gesserit can do. So that's only a Bene Gesserit thing that they can do. Like, it's not like that's not future space tech.
It doesn't really come up in the movie. They have like a remarkable degree of control over their bodies.
Nice. As all women should. Stay woke.
That's true. Great point, DJ.
Maybe Dune was actually super progressive. I didn't even know. Okay.
So if you're so Paul has the spice. Does the spice make those things more?
Yes. It's not
okay.
They don't go into it a lot in the movie, but the spice gives anyone that kind of power. The Bene Gesserit are especially good at it. The spice induces, if consumed in great quantities, it prolongs your life. It makes you live for a long time, and it makes you start having future visions.
You get high as fuck.
But you also like go crazy and turn into a weird little monster man, or not?
That's actually just because their planet's fucked up.
But then, so what's that deal with? Wait, when you say their planet, 'cause I'm talking about what's name, Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Harkonnens. Their planet's just fucked up.
Okay, so what is the black goo or whatever?
That's original to the movie, so you know everything I do.
Okay, but so he takes spice, correct?
Everyone does. Everyone takes some spice.
Is that why he can fly?
No, he can fly because he has gravity repulsors hooked up to his body. In the
It seemed
book,
like he had like a jetpack or something. Yeah, he had like a little jetpack.
in the book, he does this because he is so unbelievably fat that he could not possibly move otherwise.
Love
Love it so much.
When I saw it the first time, when he rose up, I thought he had little chicken legs.
But like really long ones.
Yeah,
like 25 feet long legs.
Yeah, because the first time you see it, it's just like he just kind of like a little, like an egg with a sock on it. You know, you never see the floor. You just see like his big old coat just keeps going, and then he floats around a little bit. Okay, what's the deal with Drax?
Is he just like a Harkonian warrior?
Beast Raban.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
He is Baron Harkonnen's nephew.
Is he like a super soldier?
No,
Or is he just
he's
a
just
big guy?
He's just his nephew.
Okay. So remember when, at one point in the movie, and I know we're getting into the weeds, these are kind of some of the things that are not like bugging me, but just like questions. So
Would you say that you're nitpicking?
I don't even know if I'm nitpicking as much as just like clarifying stuff. But
Nit questioning.
yeah. So when everything goes to shit and the bad guys start taking over Arrakis and whatever, there's two forces of guys, right? There seem to be the Harkonnens, and then there's like the SEAL Team 6s. What's their deal?
The Sardaukar are the Emperor's personal soldiers.
Gotcha.
They are like fanatically loyal troops that serve him personally and are supposed to be like the best troops in the galaxy or the universe or however big this empire is. I don't remember.
Can they fly or do they have jetpacks too?
They also have the repulsors, yeah.
Why don't the good guys have the repulsors?
I don't know, man. The Sardaukar don't have the repulsors in the book. I think they just did it in the movie so they'd have the cool shots of them silently dropping down.
Yeah, I remember when I saw that, I was like, oh, are they like on little strings? And I guess the tough part for me, the thing that I kept trying to figure out is what is spice? What is a superpower? What is a machine? And who has what? Because then I'm like, well, is Timothée Chalamet, is he going to be able to fly when he gets enough spice? Okay, so my other question, well, one of my other questions. Okay, so the whatever they are, is the
Sardaukar or the Harkonnen?
No, now I'm trying to remember the main ones. Atreides is, I guess, but is that's not what they're called.
They're just called the Atreides forces, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So those guys, they have their sound machine thingies that give them shields.
The blue shield.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's got those.
Kinetic dampener.
Yeah, in the book, does everyone have those?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the point? Like, they don't do anything.
Well,
like
because if you weren't wearing them, then people could shoot you with a gun.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because you need like the special little drill guns to get to guys.
Right. All right.
Which are cool. I remember watching the first one of these, the one with, the David Lynch one. And I want to say there's like a bit in the crawl of that one. I couldn't remember if it was that one or this one, where it says like the Arrakis team has developed a new weapon that uses sound or something. And I assumed that was what this is, but I guess maybe everybody got one as well. Have you guys? I forget. Have you ever seen the original one?
Oh, absolutely not.
I meant to watch it before this, but I got tied up doing other things today.
Doing other things?
Eating them gummies?
Do you know
Havana syndrome, yeah.
Do you know what the shields look like in that?
I have no idea.
Oh, man, it's fucking awful. But it's kind of funny because it's almost like quaint because it's the 80s, right? Obviously, they couldn't do cool stuff. I'm going to send you a clip. Don't look at it on your own, but I'll find it. And it's pretty good.
While you do that, I have a question.
Yeah.
Diggins. Why did the Harkonnens even need the Sardaukar? Because it sure seemed like they didn't. Like, it seems like they would have been totally fine on their own. So, like, why were they even there?
It's possible they might have won because the Harkonnens have a larger army. However, the Atreides forces are actually exceptionally well trained. And so it would have been a pretty close fight. So they were like...
They, blew up all their stuff. It seemed like the Atreides had, no shot whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree.
Well...
it wasn't even kind of a fight. And I wasn't sure if that was done for, speed purposes, but it seemed like the Atreides were, not well-equipped at all.
It was basically insurance. So they got the jump on them because of Dr. Yue's betrayal.
Right.
What a jerk, by the way.
So,
Real Song-woo over here.
It was a total...
just the coincidence that they're both the Asian ones. Okay, go on.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely why I was saying that.
Hey, everyone in Squid Game, everyone in Squid Game is an Asian one. So
That's true too.
Except
Not
the
the mask
69
people.
man.
Yeah, there we go.
The true heroes.
Oh God, what was I? Oh yeah, yeah. Basically, it was like insurance, and also the Emperor had a real personal interest in this. So,
Emperor seems like a real dickhole.
well, all
Nah, he
emperors
seems cool.
are.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, so I put the clip in the chat. I think we should watch this together because it'll be fun. It's only 2 minutes
Okay.
long.
All right.
2 minutes and 37 seconds.
Needle and a time stack.
Needle and time stack. Yeah. Okay. So don't look at it, obviously, but like you could click on it. Just don't like scrub forward. This is a scene from the beginning of the first one, which in this scene, what's the name of the guy who's played by Josh Brolin?
Gurney Halleck.
Yeah. So that guy's in this, and it's a scene where they fight and like show off the fancy weapons. I don't know if I've talked about this already, but this is the only actor who's in in this version that I'm like, oh wow, him. Besides, like, because Sting is in it. This guy, the guy from Twin Peaks.
Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe there's one other person that you may recognize, but then there's this guy who's just in the middle of fucking Dune. It's wild. Okay, so let's watch it as a group. So this clip, by the way, in case anyone wants to look it up, is Dune Shield Practice 1984, and like you'll find it.
All right.
All right, you can do. We'll do the 3, 2, 1 start. Everybody good?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1 start.
Okay.
So yeah,
I like their little green outfits.
I like that man's eyebrows.
Yeah. What about
Yeah,
that guy on the
right?
left? He's pretty something, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's very, very strange casting. Like we go from Patrick Stewart to Josh Brolin. What a not necessarily glow up, but interesting casting decision. But yeah, the eyebrow guy is wild. He looks like Peter Pettigrew, but I don't think it's the same guy.
Well, considering there'd be
Also-
like a 25-year gap, I really don't think it's the same guy.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these guys are clear. Like when you see the other, like the bad guys, they're clearly covered in makeup. Like it's real caked on there. But I can't imagine they'd be like, I think in 25 years you're gonna look like a big rat man too. So let's just put some of this stuff on you. It'll be great. But okay, so he's like, let's do the fighting. We're gonna practice your sword training or whatever. And you're gonna see them. I swear to God, this is real.
Yeah!
Oh my god.
I love shapes.
Little refrigerators with arms.
I love this so much.
The
this
most
is what it
powerful
looks like.
force in the universe. Rectangles.
Yeah.
Also, I love these lightsaber effects. Like,
Yeah.
it sounds just like a lightsaber. Also, Sir
Gumby
Patrick-
versus Evil Gumby.
Oh,
Yeah, the slow sword gets you, or whatever the phrase that they say in this one is. But yeah, pretty wild. For people that can't look at it, I mean, look at it, but it just looks like the characters are surrounded by mirrors, kind of.
it really just looks like little refrigerators fighting each other.
Yeah.
Also, like you can't hear what they're saying. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's one thing these two movies have in common, then.
That's true, yeah. Remember, is there one part in Dune, am I imagining this, where characters like, put us in the cone of silence, and then they like turn on a little silence machine?
Yes,
new
that
one?
does happen.
Did they steal that? Did Get Smart steal that from them? Or did they steal it from Get Smart?
When did Get Smart come out?
It was the 80s, but I wonder if the movie, like, was that in the books?
Yeah, that happens in
think
the
Get
book.
Smart was the 80s.
Not in that scene, which does not exist in the book, but it does happen.
Okay. So Get Smart. Oh, Get Smart was 60s.
Damn.
But I don't know if the cone of silence was always a thing or if that showed up later. But yeah, they had like this little, like little bubbles that they talked in that were the cones of silence.
Real quick. I cannot believe that just like Sir Patrick Stewart has not aged. Just has not aged.
Yeah, he looks terrific.
Pretty incredible. Yeah,
That
right?
spice will do it to you,
That's the spice.
Yeah, everyone who did the 1984 movie got to get a supply of spice. The spice melange, which prolongs your life for hundreds of years. So we're going to have Patrick Stewart for a long time.
And
Thank
Sting,
goodness.
who is also
And Sting.
still looking great. Like we're he's aged a little bit more clearly, but still spry as a young man. And Kyle MacLachlan, who has grown up like a normal person has, but he donated all his spice to charity because he's a nice person.
Yeah,
he's a
real
good
nice
guy.
Yeah. He was in, what's he been in recently? He shows up in stuff all the time, I feel like, right? Seeing something cool recently.
It got me.
He's in that Joe Exotic show, apparently. He's going to be Howard Baskin. Oh, no.
There's a Joe Exotic show? You
Apparently.
mean Tiger King? Like the documentary?
No, they're making a show of it. Is this the one with
that's-
Nicolas Cage?
This is a thing? How did I miss this? We talked about this?
Kate McKinnon is Carol Baskin. Oh, so it looks like this show is just about Carol Baskin, maybe?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, of course they were going to
For
make a
why?
bazillion of these. Yeah, exactly. For like an algorithm. Oh, you know what he was in? Did you ever watch DJ? I don't think Diggins watched. I think DJ did. Did you watch High Flying Bird? The
I have
Soderbergh
not
movie
watched
shot
it,
on a
but-
camera about basketball people.
No,
He
I
plays the
did. I
commissioner
was
in that.
interested in that.
It's okay. It's kind of fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Great stuff. What do we think of? Because he's the main guy. We already talked about Paul a bunch. Who else is in it? Anyone else?
Oscar Isaac as Duke Leto Atreides, hunking it up.
Yeah.
Hunk is, and I was waiting for that character as someone who has not read the books to betray everybody or to like turn on his morals or something and like become a jackass.
Big ol' heel turn.
Yeah, but spoiler alert, he never is. He's cool the whole time.
He's
Nice
cool the whole time.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, he did
I-
marry the Lady Jessica, so there's that.
Yeah, they threw down the line concubine there, just kind of slid it in there, and I'm like, oh, okay. I guess we're just kind of throwing.
Well, like, I
throwing
couldn't
that
tell
in
if she
there.
was like a concubine or if that was just what it like. Someone was insulting him at that point, right, or something like that. They were like,
Well,
you're concubine. So I couldn't tell if that was.
They were insulting him, but not because he has a concubine, which is a totally normal thing that any feudal lord in this universe can have, but because he loves his concubine and like cares about her and doesn't take anyone else.
Oh, what a nerd!
What a wimp.
What a nerd! Why
Yeah.
doesn't he marry her? And they're not allowed or something.
Because she's a witch.
They could theoretically, but yeah, the Bene Gesserit aren't really supposed to marry anybody, and then also he's kind of leaving it open, like I could marry, into one of the other families in the realm so that we could strike up an alliance. Like that's still possible. Like kind of trying to leave his options open a little bit, which he clearly
Interesting.
regrets by the end of his life.
He could have
Hell
married
yeah.
Batista, like in these pictures I drew. But look at what we got instead. Betrayal.
I will say I found his performance to be very good. And like this sound like a broken record, but it's fine, I guess. But the fact that everyone kind of brings it, is it like, oh, the director's good, like getting these performances out of these people, not bogging down too much in details, but the movie, like for me, the most interesting part of the movie was the character interactions, like the character to character, how they interact, what's going on. Like for me, that was like where a lot of the meat of the movie was. And I think like, Oscar Isaac and a bunch of people in this movie were good at giving that to you, with not an incredible amount of screen time. I think the only one that you don't get that from is Zendaya, which is, she's only in the movie for like 10 minutes. So like that obviously makes sense. But I thought everyone else just like absolute killed it. So Oscar Isaac included.
And
Yeah, for me, the
very
meat of the
important.
movie was when there were worms on screen. But your character, that's
meat.
pretty cool too.
So much meat.
very important, the meat of Oscar Isaac's butt that we saw.
Oh yeah. And those legs, like really everything going on. Just
I mean, we got almost the total package.
Yeah,
I know, we were
almost.
so close.
If
so
only we
close.
were
I
that
wouldn't even
lucky
have
Baron,
minded.
He probably got a good eyeful, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, he definitely did.
Hey,
Flying around or whatever the fuck it is that he does. I imagine he is in great shape for that, but I also imagine he is in great shape for Moon Knight. So good for him for just managing to work, not like to work in, but to really parlay that Moon Knight training into also being naked in a movie and just like, hey, look at this, huh? Everybody impressed?
Do you think he wasn't supposed to be naked in that scene, and then one day he came in like fresh from Moon Knight training, and Denis Villeneuve saw how hot he is now, and he was like, well, he's always been hot, but how ripped he is now, and was like, well, I mean, we got to show that off at some point, and that was the only thing he could think of.
Maybe Stellan Skarsgård was very like really, really timidly like, I got an idea, you guys. Go with me on this one. In this scene, he's naked. And everyone made that face to each other like, and then they went with it.
that's a good point. There's no reason for him to be naked.
It's just a power move, man. Have you never done that? Betrayed your enemies and then stripped them and had them poison you or whatever? Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Whenever I have completely dominated my enemies and I have them at my mercy, and I'm, putting them at my dinner table while they're paralyzed, so I can have a little fake, polite dinner conversation with them before I have them killed. I always strip them naked.
I let mine wear a hat, but I think if I had Oscar Isaac, I wouldn't give him the benefit of the hat. You never know what he's going to do with it. He's a real chump in this movie, though, huh? He gets chumped over big time.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's like they really make you feel like, I know you're talking about the heel turn, Nando, but when there's the crew, like the spice miners, and it's like, oh my god, they're gonna die, and they're like, we gotta get the spice, and he's like, no, forget the spice, we gotta rescue the people. It's like, okay, I get exactly who this character is. He is Ned Stark, so probably gonna go bad for him. No,
He is Ned Stark. I didn't think about that until just 5 minutes ago.
Before I said it, like,
yeah, right before
I said it. Okay.
Well, in my head, I had this like kind of thought where I was like, he's just such a good guy. He's so honorable and noble, and then I was like, oh, that's Ned Stark.
Oh, okay.
It is weird.
Definitely wasn't me saying it.
No, it was not you saying it.
Okay.
If you go back and listen to the podcast, people can do this. There'll be a bit about 5 seconds ago where in my head, you can't hear this, but I go, oh, it's Ned Stark. And then I go, I may have even seen this on Twitter before, who knows? But he is a chump, much like Ned. I think maybe I said he gets chumped over, and then I was like, just like Ned Stark. But just his like chumping over, I guess with me, I just kept waiting for a moment where he's like, oh no, we don't have enough spice. I guess we have to sacrifice all the Fremens. But he's just nice and good, and he's a good guy, so he has to get destroyed.
It is interesting that, I don't know as much of a nitpick this is, but there is, as soon as House Atreides gets to Arrakis, there is this, struggle of, oh, Harkonnen left us with shitty equipment. We're not going to be able to, produce enough spice, blah, 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 blah. And then it just doesn't matter immediately because, I guess the Emperor decides to destroy House Atreides, so, I don't know, Diggins, maybe you can help me out with this. Did the Emperor just send House Atreides to Arrakis just so they're not on their homeworld and they could be attacked easier? Like, was that the only reason for that happening?
Yes.
Okay. So I have another question. In like the very beginning scene when the Emperor's posse goes to House Atreides' homeworld and Oscar Isaac goes, there is no call, House Atreides will not answer. There is no blah, 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 blah. He does that. What if when the Emperor was like, hey, we need you to go to Arrakis, Oscar Isaac goes, fuck you, and just says no. Like, why not just do that? Just, big old middle finger. Yeah.
Political considerations, basically.
Chump.
Yeah, but like, He's about to die anyway. He must know that, like, oh my god, they're sending me to Arrakis. That's away from my homeworld. I'm more vulnerable. These people are strong. I don't wanna.
I feel like he's kind of he's a simple man.
He does have a plan, which happens in this movie, which you see in this movie. He just thought he'd have a little more time. His plan,
what was the plan?
Was to strike up an alliance with the Fremen, who we see in this movie are actually very capable of fighting off the Sardaukar.
And there's way more than the like Emperor thinks, right? It's like, oh, there's actually 1 million. They thought there were only like 50,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Baron Harkonnen struck sooner than he was expecting because he didn't know that he had a traitor in his midst that was making it easier for them. So his plan did not come to fruition before it was too late.
I'm with Nando. Maybe he is just a simple man.
I think he's a simple man. I'm with DJ, though. I feel like I kind of wish we had a little bit more time to watch him be desperate and like fail at collecting the spice and then squirm.
Because it doesn't matter. None of the conflict
they could have gone to Arrakis and then it was all great, and he could have been like, "This is too good." Like, it would have been the same thing, as far as I'm concerned.
I just don't know why it's there. Like it might as well be, oh, spice production's going pretty well. Everything's going to be all right. And then it's like, oh no, we're all dead. Like, I'd feel the same way versus the, god damn it, we're not going to make enough spice.
Plus, they pretty much just blew up the whole thing anyway, right? Like, they were just bombing them. So I feel like in the bit where they're investigating like their little spice silos, it's like they didn't even leave us any. If they had left them some, those would have been destroyed later anyway.
Right,
who
exactly.
Cares?
Yeah.
Diggins, is there a book reason for this? Is there something we're missing?
For what?
Like, why they're like struggling immediately, but it doesn't really matter?
Yeah, like, why is there a spice mining struggle at all?
I mean, narratively,
like, is it...
like a narrative reason, but in terms of like what the characters are doing, it's basically the Baron Harkonnen is doing a lot of different things so that they will expect that maybe this is part of his main plan when really his main plan is the ambush.
That makes sense.
See, that I'll buy. I wish someone like, and this movie doesn't beat you over the head with anything, which I like. And even if like Oscar Isaac at the end's like, why did you fuck up the spice stuff? You're gonna do this anyway. And Harkonnen's like, 'cause it was funny. And I don't know, just like it's just something. Maybe it's because I, like Oscar Isaac's character, am a simple man.
Yeah, you're a chump.
I just would have.
But
liked
are you as
something.
hunky as Oscar Isaac?
We all know I'm not.
Can we make a new word then? Can he be because he's a hunky chump?
Oh.
Can he be a chunk?
I
A
I
hump?
feel like that has
Nothing chunky
different.
about it.
What's the
Both of those-
portmanteau there?
Both of those have very different connotations.
Yeah, he's a chunk.
And
Speaking of
man.
chunks, let's talk about the opposite of a chunk, a savvy hunk, a sunk. In the
Well, that's
form
not-
of Jason Momoa.
That's
He's
no,
pretty
that's
sick.
not the opposite. The opposite is a suggo, a savvy uggo. So let's talk about
that's
Stellan
true.
Skarsgård.
Oh, we could talk about Stellan Skarsgård.
man.
He's a big old monster man, but not
He is a
really
big old
that
monster
much of
man.
one, but kind of.
yeah, I mean,
He's like a
the
fucked up
Skarsgård
man.
family. I know he said it, but the Skarsgård family is like really good at being weird.
What if
Yeah.
Beast Raban and Phaedratha, the Baron's two nephews, were one of them's not in this movie? Were his two actual sons?
They should have
That
done
would
that.
have been great.
Should have done that.
Do you think they
Missed
were
opportunity
busy?
as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, maybe
Godzilla v Konging it up or whatever they do?
the It prequel.
Yeah, I can never remember which one's actually a son and which one's not.
Wait, they're both the son.
They're both his sons.
I want to. Are both of them, or is there a third
Yeah.
one kicking around? Then there's. What about the one from? What about the one from Green Lantern?
So Alexander and Bill Skarsgård are both Stellan Skarsgård's sons.
Yes.
Oh, who am I thinking of?
I don't know if there's a third Skarsgård who's not related, like how Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson are brothers, but Rainn Wilson is not one of the brothers.
Oh, I'm thinking of
Peter
Peter Sarsgaard.
Peter Sarsgaard. Different name.
Yeah, similar
Totally
but
different
name.
guy.
But he looks like he could be. He's also got an interesting face.
Well,
he's
he's
got
also-
a humongous forehead, just like the other kid.
He's also Scandinavian, so,
Mm.
I'm not saying every Scandinavian person looks the same, but they kind of do. They kind of do.
It's
They
okay.
do.
You could be Scandinavian racist, Diggins. I'll allow it.
I mean, is it racist if you like him?
I have a Scandinavian friend. It's totally
It's
cool.
a Seinfeld thing. I love Scandinavians. Does
Oh,
Swedes
yeah.
count as Scandinavians?
Yes.
No,
I
right.
don't
Sweden,
think so, no.
Oh, they do?
Sweden,
Oh.
wow, wait, DJ, can you tell us real quick where on a map you think Sweden is?
Fuck, not this again. Okay. It's 100% next to Switzerland.
No. Incredibly
Area
wrong.
of Switzerland.
Damn
No,
it.
Same
very
continent.
wrong. Well, okay, yes, same continent.
Well, thank you. Okay. Sweden is it in the Alps?
No.
That's Switzerland.
God.
Yeah.
Is that Geneva? Is that
Geneva's a city in Switzerland.
Oh man, this is so hard, guys.
What is a Swede to you, DJ? What's a Swedish person like?
Blonde hair, buff. Like Swedish Chef from the Muppets.
Yep, he's a Swede.
That's the meatballs. IKEA.
Yep, that's a Swedish thing. Yep.
Yeah, you're nailing this
Legos.
part.
Lego. Yep, they love their
I
Lego.
think Lego's Danish,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh my god, this is
Is it?
I
I'm positive
think.
about that.
who knows. Anyway, so yeah, those are all
Oh, you're right, Danish.
Swedish things, except for Legos.
What country
yeah.
do you think it's next to? I'll give you a hint.
Yeah. If you name any country that's next to Sweden, you win. You have 3 guesses. Go.
Okay. Any country is sweet. Okay, I can do this. The Netherlands.
No.
Oh god. Denmark.
Netherlands
Yes.
is close, though, right? It's like
No. Not really. But
right,
Denmark.
last one.
No, Denmark was right. Denmark was right.
yeah, Denmark.
Oh, I did it. I'm a genius. See, you guys can't laugh at me anymore. I'm so smart.
I would say Netherlands is close-ish to Sweden.
It's not next to
if
it,
we're
though.
giving
I
Denmark,
said,
I'm willing to give him Netherlands.
I said next to. It's definitely not
Okay.
next to Sweden.
No, it's not next to Sweden. The two next to Sweden ones, I mean, you could say Denmark, but also it's Finland and Norway. Those are the other two. Those are the big ones. They're like three little fingers, you know,
Okay.
on the top of Europe.
How did we get here?
In Scandinavia, we were talking about Stellan
Yeah.
Skarsgård, who plays the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen.
Yeah.
And Scandinavians all look the same.
I mean,
Can't convince
they've
me
got a look. They're great. I love Scandinavians.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen, incredible actor.
Oh, man, gosh. He should be in this. What if he's the other one? What if he plays Sting?
He's a little too old to be Fedorov.
I keep thinking of the wrestler Sting. I can't like get that out of my head.
I've never seen him in the same room at the same time.
Can we? Oh, so I mean, I don't know who's in future movies, but can we like cast those people?
It's really just Sting.
Okay.
Now, he's the one that matters. He's the one that's like, because he could be in this one. There's bits where, like, in the original movie, everybody's sitting around chatting on the bad guy team, and he's there, even though he doesn't do anything in the beginning of the movie. But when they do that, it's Polka Dot Man instead. Not like instead, because he's probably in there too, but like...
Yeah. No, so in the book, Fedorov does show up in the parts of the book that this movie covers, but mainly it's so that he can sit in a room while Baron Harkonnen and Peter de Vries, who is Polka Dot Man, talk about their evil plans. So I can understand why you don't have him in the movie.
Mm-hmm. And you do want to save some casting for part 2, like that you can announce and get people excited for.
A big deal.
And you probably have an not probably, but a lot of times they'll have an actor who's like, I don't want to do 2 of them. I only have time for 1. So I'm busy doing Eternals now, being Druig. So when that's over, you can put me in your movie. Maybe if he's it. Who knows? Who's the anti-Timothy Chalamet?
All right, so old person who's bad at acting.
Old, unrelatable, like distant person.
And who's not handsome whatsoever.
No.
I don't know, man. Like Jerry Jones, like he's probably the anti-Timothy Chalamet.
Adam Sandler.
Oh my god.
Oh, Adam Sandler is so relatable.
He's had a
hot wife who he doesn't want to have sex with. As relatable as in those movies. I just can't get over the women he's married to in those movies. It's so funny that he like invents pixels and he's like, all right, Michelle Monaghan, that's my expected wife. Kate Beckinsale, she could be my wife. Jennifer Aniston, Selma Hayek, all things that make sense.
Idina Menzel, even that one, right? It's like
yeah.
Quick question. How many times do you think Adam Sandler's been divorced?
If I have to guess?
You have to guess.
Like, do you know it off the top of your head, or are we all just...
I'm looking at it on Wikipedia.
I'll guess twice.
Part of me wants to say 0 but that's probably not it. It's probably like 4. I'm going to guess 4.
DJ's the closest. It is 0.
Ah!
Wow, good for him, man. Wait, who's he been married to the whole time?
I think a non-famous person.
I think the Queen England is pretty famous.
I thought she was married to a slightly... Wasn't she in... Oh, fuck, hold on. I thought she was, like, not like a big-time actor, but...
Talk about Adam Sandler's wife. She's in that one movie he made not too long ago. I
guess she is an actress.
She was... What was that movie? It was, like, the worst one ever.
Hotel Transylvania.
No, those are supposed to be pretty good.
Pixels.
It wasn't... It could have been Hubie Halloween, but I don't think that was it either.
She is in Hubie Halloween.
Oh, is she? Is she his girlfriend in that? No, because that's... what's her name? That's Veronica Vaughn.
I've never watched it. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like she is an actress, but she's an actress mainly in Adam Sandler properties.
Did they make like a movie with the... Oh, man. There was a Rob Schneider movie that they made recently? Maybe?
Really?
Or something.
Chill down my spine.
One of his friends. One of the... Oh, no. Maybe it was David Spade? This matters, so we have to figure this out. Is it The Wrong Missy? I watched that movie.
This does appear to be a David Spade movie.
Is the wife the main girl? Not Lauren Lapkus. Jackie Sandler. Yes. I believe this is her. Yeah. She was introduced to the acting world by Rob Schneider in the hit movie Deuce Bigalow.
How about that?
Nothing against... I don't remember her in any of these movies. I'm sure she's in there, but yeah.
I don't buy that he's the anti-Timothy Chalamet. I also feel like he's had like a fun like late career turn where he's like not a piece of shit. And he may never have been a piece of shit.
But he's not anymore.
He used to be. I get it. I get it.
Slappy sakes, it's Sandlerini's. Yeah. No, he... I feel like the anti-Timothy Chalamet, I feel like has to be... God, who's phoning it in the most?
In this movie?
Who's just like
Bruce Willis. Is it Bruce Willis?
Oh, that's
Bruce Willis
great.
is the anti-Timothy Chalamet. You nailed it.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So maybe he could be in it. He could be... he could be Sting, and they can use the DH deep fake that sells Russian cell phones.
I would love that
right.
so much. Oh my god.
Oh, that would be terrific. Man, if there's one thing on this podcast, I just do not like Bruce Willis.
Yeah, he might be our enemy. Like, I don't think we have a lot of enemies, but he's one of them.
I thought about this is a podcast I've thought of in my head. I'm probably not going to do it, but it's called And Also Starring. And every week I would review, starting in the beginning, a movie in Bruce Willis's filmography and never mention Bruce Willis. It's all just about everybody else in the movie, ignoring him completely. Because he's in movies with good people that are good movies, but he's also there. But, like, wouldn't it be nice if we could live in a universe without him, you know? That's just a thought. But, yeah. And then it would end with the Russian cell phone company. You had to interview the person who was his body, who played Bruce Willis's body, but not talk about Bruce Willis's face. Anyway, he shouldn't be in this. He would be bad in Dune.
He would be bad in Dune. He'd get so much money, though.
He would get a lot of money. You know who probably deserves a lot of money? Who do you think is the highest paid actor in this? Probably Timothée Chalamet, right?
It might be Oscar Isaac. His quote might be huge.
I feel like Zendaya probably also commands a lot of money.
It's his quote, Nando. He gets the quote, and then he's able to quote that again.
He gets that many mils, no matter how many movies, no matter how bad the movie is, he still gets that many mils. I also think it could be Jason Momoa. I do think he's a big star.
Oh, you wanted to talk about him. You wanted to talk about Big
him.
Hunky Hunk Man. Yeah.
He's the best.
He's so good. Well, man, I wish he didn't shave that beard. It takes away so much.
Does he shave the beard in the movie? I can't remember.
Yeah, the latter half of the movie.
He does, yeah.
Totally
I saw the movie with a friend of the show, Lorenzo. And Lorenzo's biggest complaint after we saw the movie was that he wanted there to be a scene where Duncan Idaho either is shaving his beard or talks about shaving his beard so that he wouldn't be confused later when Jason Momoa shows up without a beard.
Yeah, I don't like that now that I'm looking at
it. That's like in the beginning of Dragon Ball GT, like Vegeta is shaving a mustache for no reason. He just begins by shaving a mustache. He could have just began with no mustache. But
they could have gotten that sweet Norelco money that all the Marvel movies get when, like, Doctor Strange sexually shaves his beard in front of a mirror, or like Captain America sexually shaves his beard in front of a mirror, or Batman does it too in his movie. Like, they love showing off razors in movies.
They really
also,
do.
Vegeta shaved his mustache because his daughter viciously roasted him for having one.
Yeah, but you didn't need any of that there. It is so superfluous and did not matter. She did roast him, though, pretty good.
Why does Duncan Idaho shave his mustache or his beard in this?
It's not made clear. See, what's weird is, it's like, okay,
Full
he was
sand.
Like... He hates sand so much. He hadn't, like, gone native, but he was living with the Fenrir.
Wow. Yeah, the wolves.
The Fremen.
He's living with them.
Fremen's not that complicated a word.
Fremen's, it's the worst one, because it's like other things, but it's not. Everything else is unique, like Harkonnen, Atreides, Arrakis. But Frennen's like Fremen? It's the worst one.
Right? Fremen?
See, it could sound like 30 things. Fremen.
I'm going to agree with DJ on this. I do think Fremen is right in the middle of a lot of words, and it was difficult for me in the beginning. You just
got to remember that it was the name of a popular sitcom in the 90s starring Jennifer Aniston, David Schwimmer, and etc.
Yeah.
But so, Jason Momoa was living with them. Duncan Idaho, I gotta call him by his proper name. Duncan Idaho was living with them for like a month or whatever, and then he like gets back. And it's like, oh, it must be good to shave. But he went in with the beard.
Yeah.
He should have gone in with no beard, came out with the beard, and then do no beard again.
Right, because then he changed. Like, he has become one. Because everybody in not all, but like, what's his name has a beard?
Oscar Isaac.
Still gone.
No. Well, he also has a beard, very true. But Javier Bardem has a beard. So
yeah.
And Zendaya does not have a beard, so they're the only two characters. Does Babs? What's his name? I don't know. Jameis. Does he have a beard? I can't remember.
Jameis,
the guy that he kills.
The guy he duels.
Oh, that is his name. You got it right, Nando.
I'm googling. I'm online right now. Like, I'm looking.
Oh, okay.
At it, so don't give me any credit.
No, don't tell us.
I believe that actor had a beard.
Okay, so yeah, I feel like you could. I mean, that wouldn't work because, like I said, all of the guys and all of the other heroes have beards as well, but if that was kind of how you differentiated old Jason Momoa and new Jason Momoa with like now he's got a beard just like them. But
do you
is
guys
he filming a movie, like a different movie? Like, was this a Henry Cavill situation?
Does he
like,
still do that show where like he's a blind man on Apple TV Plus or whatever?
I think
God,
so.
yeah.
They probably still do
Also,
that.
do you guys mind a very, very minor spoiler for something that would happen like first thing next movie?
Yeah.
Does
go
Timothy Chalamet
crazy.
have a beard?
Oh, I can't wait.
No, it's just
Oh,
we brought
I
up
was really
him killing. We brought up him killing Jamis, and so
sure.
I want you guys to know that like next thing is they go back to the siege where the Fremen live, and Jamis's wife goes up to him and is like, "All right, cool, you killed him, so I'm your wife now."
What? That they're not going to put that in. Like they're not
Well,
going to put that in the movie.
Okay, it's you killed him, so I can be your wife or your servant. Pick one.
Is it in the David Lynch movie?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I didn't make it that far.
Well, okay.
Well,
let me further modify that. What she says is, "I can be your wife or your servant. Pick one." I'm real fucking sexy though, so you should pick wife.
Nice.
Damn, that's a the Fremen. God, it's so hard. The Fremen like have some interesting customs. I will say that. I want to say weird because I don't want to be insensitive to anything that might like actually exist in the world.
You don't want to
but,
be insensitive to the Bedouin culture of Arabia, where they are like 100% like almost 1-to-1 based on.
Is that a thing?
I don't
mean,
know.
I feel like that's
Listen,
a thing in the olden times. The wife.
I am not
happens.
going to comment on the modern traditions of the Bedouin because I do not know them. However, the Fremen are very, very much based on, historical Bedouin cultures of Arabia.
Well, also it's like a 50-year-old book, so even the book references aren't modern, right? You know,
Well, yeah,
anything
but
it's
also,
referencing was...
like, if you go back into history, like, isn't that what The Last Duel is about? Vikings do that
Well,
shit
the last
all
duel's
the
like
time. where
proving
if
it's
you-
like proving innocence.
Well, right, but if he doesn't prove it, then she becomes his slave or something?
No, she dies.
Oh, she dies?
She'd be a liar.
Okay.
It's the idea that like God would not let a liar win combat. In this, it's like best man win.
It's so funny that that's the premise of The Last Duel, and then the movie is filled with Red Sox fans. Or not Red Sox fans, excuse me, Patriots fans. So God would never let cheaters prosper unless Ben Affleck wanted them to.
Oh my God.
What was I saying? Oh, right. The Vikings. I watched the Viking show where they do that, where it's like if you beat the guy in combat, you just get his wife. Like, so, I don't know. It's a thing probably that happened.
I just don't see him putting it in the movie because that's, I don't know,
Well,
like,
I mean,
why?
that's the part of this that's tricky for me. Is like there are all these things that it's like, is the movie, is the story of Dune glorifying the colonialism and like all that stuff, or is it tearing it down? And then in the larger context, it's like, well, is the book and in the new movie, like how is the new movie going to play on the themes of the book? So we'll see what happens when it happens. But
I will say, I don't think this movie particularly fixes any of the problems of Orientalism or white saviorness that may exist in that book. That absolutely exist in that book. They don't make them worse, but they certainly don't make them better.
Well, that's why I feel like in the second book, you could, he could turn it all around, and it's like, well, you see what I was saying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, any of the things we didn't like in this book could have purposefully been done in a specific way to make a point in the second book. So who knows? I don't know.
Like, it's good to show what the evil is so you can give a juxtaposition for the correction of it later. Like, I buy that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, like, has Dennis been given like the reins on this whole franchise? Like, does he just get the vision for everything going forward? Because I trust him.
Well,
Seems like
do
it.
that.
he wants to make the trilogy at least. There's like 21 Dune books.
He gonna be making these movies till he's dead.
And hey,
Like,
guess what? Well, he's probably not going to do all of them because they get real weird.
Okay. Well, like I guess he'll be doing this for a while. I mean, actually, we didn't really talk about this, but I think it'd be worth talking about. So, how well did the movie do? I think I heard the box office number. I'm sure HBO or Warner, whoever's doing, like, guys, the HBO Max numbers were out of this world. 80 bajillion views, more than Squid Game. Like, I'm sure they're doing some fun magic with the numbers.
I want to say there's like one streaming app or something that tends to release information, and it's like a streaming, like it's like a Roku or something that knows how many people watch whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about? You guys seen this?
I have not, no.
They had like the numbers that were like more people watched it in its opening weekend than the Snyder Cut or whatever. But it's not from HBO. It's from like another other thing that is, but that they seem to actually share some of these analytics when they're interesting. So it definitely got the most views or something. I don't know if it got more views than Suicide Squad, but it beat Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I think it's had the best box office of the simultaneous HBO Max releases.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I think that makes sense when you look at like how much has changed between this, like look at where we are in the world now versus where we were for Suicide Squad. Like, people being vaccinated and stuff like that makes a world of difference. Not to say it doesn't deserve it, but just it's very, it's an interesting, like, I feel like there was going to be some sort of watershed moment or something where it was like, okay, now we're all going back, or now we're going to see something that actually makes money doing this day and date release. And this might be the one. I don't know. Matrix will be a tough one. But
that will be a tough one.
That's the only one I think coming up that could.
I really hope that the Matrix movie is about nothing but the Neil Patrick Harris therapist character, because he's the only one I want to know about.
I want him and the Jonathan Groff therapist to fight in the Matrix with swords or something. Samurai swords.
I think, too, this movie will lend itself to people wanting to see it multiple times. And, like, I think you could have it where some people, possibly I might include myself in this category, who watched it at home to start, but it's like, oh, you know what, when it cools down, because like you just want to see it so you're part of the conversation, but when it cools down, like I'll go see it like week 3 in theaters to get like the full effect, so I think there's kind of like levels to what people's viewing experience will be. And I think this movie just lends itself to seeing it multiple times, because especially if you haven't read the books, there's so much going on. There's so much going on.
Well, I feel like the thing that I think a lot of the success here could hinge on is the Oscars. If Dune runs away with it, then I feel like people will be like, oh, wow, Dune, that was a serious thing that is cool and great and transcending. It's not like those Marvel movies. It's like a big budget action movie that's also a cool, serious person movie. And I don't know if it's got a great shot this year, because there's some pretty good movies out this year. But if it gets nominated for a lot of stuff, that'll probably help.
Is Dune in the Oscar conversation?
I don't see why not.
I mean, because for all the reasons you said, it is a big budget movie. It has lots of famous actors. It is about a sci-fi thingy. I don't think your Martin Scorsese's of the world see a difference between Endgame and Dune.
You don't think
see it
so?
As like no.
Oh my God! I feel like Martin Scorsese would like this. I feel like he thinks it is #cinema.
I think Dune is kind of like a very famous and influential sci-fi series that's also been kind of a white whale in terms of making a film adaptation of. Because, I mean, there was the one that, got made, but most people think it's pretty bad.
With
refrigerators punch each other, so it's cool. Yeah.
So it's kind of been like a dream in many people's minds to have a good Dune movie for a long time. So I feel like that does give it a sheen that your typical, big sci-fi blockbuster would not have.
But how are they going to give it to like a part 1 of a movie?
Oh,
it's not even a movie.
I don't think it's going to like clean up at the Oscars or anything. But if it got some nominations, I wouldn't be shocked.
Here's what I think we'll get. I do think Denis Villeneuve will get a Best Director nomination. I feel like he is one of those award show darlings who is also good. Like, he deserves it. But, like, I feel like everybody will be like, he was very good. I think I could see Rebecca Ferguson getting something.
Agreed. I could see a supporting actress for sure.
And then maybe Timothée Chalamet, although I think that's a little tricky because I don't think he's going to stand out quite as much as, I don't know, maybe he will. But it's going to get a bazillion technical awards.
He didn't wear too much, big obtrusive makeup in this role, so I don't think we can give him an acting Oscar.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, he just looks, maybe we give it to Stellan Skarsgård then. He can get Best Supporting. I feel like, I don't know, I could see every category getting a Dune guy. Like the judge, I don't know that actress's name. Best Supporting Actress, you could get, Oscar Isaac could get Best Supporting Actor, and then
Jason
all the technical
Momoa
categories.
Could get Best Name.
Duncan Idaho,
Best Human Dog Man who wants to give you a big hug.
Well,
He is that.
I mean, it'll be great to have that Oscar delivered again after Jupiter Rising,
Yeah.
Jupiter Ascending. Sorry,
Jupiter Ascending. Yeah. If we were only so lucky, we would get to 15 movies in the Jupiter, and they would all be like Jupiter Rising, Jupiter Waiting, Jupiter whatever. What was I gonna say? I think this will get nominated though for a lot of stuff because I think Denis Villeneuve is very popular, and I think most people are like, this is pretty good. But I also feel like your Martin Scorsese's of the world would love to see this movie do well. And
really? It just feels like poison for him.
Why?
Because he's so anti anything that's like an IP, right? It's like, it's like we were talking about with like Buzz Lightyear or whatever. There's no originality left. Everything's same thing over and over and over
Scorsese's
again.
already said he's so on for the Buzz Lightyear origin story of the guy that the toy is based on.
I bet he is.
Yeah, he's voicing he's bringing back his character from Shark Tale, and he's going to be in Buzz Lightyear.
Also,
we forgot Martin Scorsese.
Also, after Nando made me watch that teaser trailer because he said he had an intro bit for it, we have not talked about that trailer on mic.
Well, that's a good point.
We talked about something
I forgot
else,
that was
so
before.
by then we were like 20 minutes in. I forget what it was, but it was like, we probably aren't going to talk about Buzz Lightyear anymore.
Well, it came up anyway, so I guess
Real
it counts.
quick,
Nando,
who do you think will win in a fight?
You say that as if DJ and I like grabbed the mic and are like, this is what the intro's about. We let you do whatever you wanted.
What was the intro, though? I do think it was like something like that. What did we talk about?
I think we got right into it because we're like, this is going to be a long one.
100% did not. There's 20 minutes of chit-chat. I don't remember what it is, but it is something that was not Buzz Lightyear, but I was ready for Buzz Lightyear.
Send a GIF of what you thought the intro was about.
Chalamet's Xbox thing. That's what I talked about at the beginning of the show.
I did bring that up.
So, real quick, who do you think will win in a fight? Paul Atreides or Buzz Lightyear, the man the character from the Toy Story is based on? They both have space suits. They're both spacemen. They both have giant chins, or jawlines at least.
I think Buzz Lightyear Man could just somehow out-trick
his tiny face on his huge head. I hate it.
It is bad. It's all. That's why the toy looks like that.
Yeah, but the toy is a toy. It's fine if it's cartoony.
No, I mean the actual toy. They based the actual toy off of this man's tiny, tiny face.
Yeah.
That's where they got the inspiration from.
You forgot, Diggins. This is not based on Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. This is the toy in the real. Now, here's my question: is this a show in the Toy Story-verse?
Or
did this guy exist?
No idea.
Is Andy going to college in a world where there's a man flying around the sun?
See, I thought it was the latter, and then I watched the trailer, and he like flies around the sun, and there's aliens and stuff. So I was like, is this like the gritty reboot of Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, the 2000s cartoon show?
And that's the other thing. So. We can't forget about how great that show was, because it was great, and I loved it. And I want the characters to make appearances. They won't, but that show was sick. I would be okay with him inventing Star Command in the next one, maybe. I mean, he works for Star Command in this, but like inventing the Star Trek-y Star Command, as opposed to like, But he's already wearing the Star Command shirt in this trailer. Right, but I mean like him taking Star Command from like, just these people on Earth and like interstellar-y kind of guys to like a full Star Trek. Like, we got aliens on the team that help us do missions, but I don't know. There's a robot in this and it's not XR, so who gives a fuck? Why are we even bothering? I like his hair though. He's got really fancy little hair. It looks like this character is Chris Pratt, so it's weird that it's Chris Evans. He makes Chris Pratt faces. Well, Chris Pratt was too busy being Mario, so. That's so cool. True. I forgot about that. Who do you think will win in a fight? Nando? Mario and Buzz Lightyear. Oh, Mario, easily.
Yeah, Mario. Mario is like punch him right in the dick with his upper punch. It'd be game over as far as I'm concerned.
That's true. Well, I'm talking about the toy, not the actor that the toy is based on. And that toy does not have a dick. But I'm thinking, what if we just threw Buzz Lightyear into Smash? Would he just call down the Landmaster now? Because Fox doesn't use him anymore.
Actually, Nando, did you know that was actually the most requested character, not Goku? It was
Lightyear.
Actually Buzz Lightyear. Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear, the toy that the character from this movie is based on.
It's just an inch tall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like 50 levels of abstraction, and it's like a micro tiny Buzz Lightyear guy. I think this Buzz Lightyear movie is probably actually going to be okay. I do.
I'm not actually. So it's funny. I watched the trailer with Michelle right before this because I figured we were going to talk about it organically, of course,
and we did.
And
here we are doing it now.
And she had said that she said it got me. Like the trailer got her. Like, oh, this is going to be good. No, but for me, I was like, really? I was like, this opposite got me. I'm like, oh no, this looks like it'll be tragic. Like I'm not here for any of this.
What do you think looks tragic about it?
The fact that they used
the idea
a soulful cover of David Bowie's Starman.
That's a fair one, too. It's like a really fair point.
Wait, that's great. What's wrong with that?
I hate it. That's what's wrong with it.
Yeah, I'm with Diggins. I also hate it.
Listen.
I don't like it for a Buzz Lightyear movie. I agree with what you said before. If this wasn't a Buzz Lightyear movie, I'd be like, oh, that looks neat.
Yeah, that's the problem is it is just kind of like Interstellar Ad Astra. And I like those movies. So I think the idea of just making more of those would be great. And yeah, if you have to slap a Buzz Lightyear onto it to get people to watch it, then I don't know.
But for why? For why, though?
Just because it's a cool space movie. Like, why do you have to slap that on?
Yeah.
Because it's expensive. So, studio's not just going to make Ad Astra again and lose $1 bazillion. But also, this looks, I don't know. I feel like this is just expensive, so it helps to have that. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be Martin Scorsese up in here, but it's I don't know, it's kind of like a nonsense thing to me where you could have so many like good ideas. Like I get more excited for Disney movies that are not like weird adaptations. Like I think that Enchanto movie is going to be like really, really good. And like I think that'll be a lot of fun. That's like, oh, something like totally new. But I don't need like the gritty Buzz Lightyear movie. Like just make a Spaceman movie, whatever. Do Ad Astra, but
yeah, but sad millennials won't go see it if it's not tied to a property that they can be nostalgic about.
God damn it, Diggins.
I mean, at this
you're
point,
so right.
For me, I feel like I don't have super high hopes for this movie. I don't know who's like directing or writing it or whatever. But I feel like it's so weird and it makes so little sense to me. Then maybe it's a good movie that they just made, and then we're like, do you want to make the movie? Like, do you want it to be made? Well, it has to have Buzz Lightyear in it. And they were like, okay. So in the end of it, we'll still have a good movie, and it'll just have this insane connection to a Toy Story movie. But, like, I feel like it's so left of center as a Toy Story prequel idea that it feels like it must have been something else or be some sort of crazy passion project. Because, like, this doesn't feel like Monsters, Inc. University where it's like, let's just do them again, but a prequel. Or the Monsters, Inc. show, which is do Monsters, Inc., but a sequel. It feels like if they came up with, like, I don't know. I can't even think of a more weird prequel sequel pitch than something like this. Like,
it is a pretty weird one.
It's so weird. It takes place in a universe that doesn't even make sense. We all saw the trailer and have seen all the Toy Story movies and still don't know what is it. Like, what is and is not real. Maybe he's going to go back in time into a bookcase. Maybe he'll come out the bookcase as Buzz Lightyear. And this is why Buzz Lightyear thinks he's a real guy. You know?
I mean, I don't know. It's or did is this guy does this take place in the far future? And this guy like read about the toy and he's like, that sounds amazing. And then he face sculpted his face to look like the toy. And that's why his face is small.
Yeah, he's like a reverse Flash kind of guy who got plastic surgery to look like the thing he's obsessed with. That'd be pretty cool.
It's super possible.
Yeah. Either way, he is not going to be in Dune, but he could be.
No.
They could be a Dune Buzz Lightyear crossover. Do you think he's going to have a cowboy friend or meet a cowboy on a cowboy?
Well, where are we going to get the Woody gritty the 1850s?
He's going to have like an old nemesis who's a cowboy, and someone will be like, "What if you were friends with that cowboy?" And he'll be like, "I would never be friends with a cowboy ever."
Yes.
Woody never.
That's what it will be. Or someone will be like, he'll be like a young buck who doesn't play by anybody's rules. They'll be like, "You're such a cowboy, Buzz Lightyear," and he'll be like, "Cowboy, Buzz Lightyear, that doesn't even work." And then that's what
cowboys are lame, and I would never be friends with one.
And then Charles Martinet will get thrown into a tree wood chipper, just as penance for his crimes of being the real Mario.
His crime of being a voice actor.
Yeah. But you guys, Dune, Duncan, Idaho, he was cool. What else was cool? The fight scenes. What do we think of the fight scenes? They're pretty good.
Yeah, very, very good. I like when House Atreides got totally murdered. That That was fun.
I'm
Actually, no lie. The final duel between Paul and the other guy, that was really good. Jonas, I thought that was like really, really good.
I didn't love the bigger fight scenes.
I agree.
The choreography was it wasn't bad, but I don't know. We were like a little too pulled back. The cuts were like a little bit too slow. So it just felt kind of like weird and confused more than like a fun action scene or something. Like it wasn't terrible, but I don't know. They were just like a little bit off, enough that I noticed it and was like, I do think the more individual ones, like you were saying, DJ, with the fight with his fight with Jamis, and
Duncan in the hallway.
Yeah, Duncan in the hallway. Good. I think those ones are better, but like the big battle scene in particular, I don't know. I felt like it was a little off.
Yeah,
I feel like it was mostly a mechanic to drive tension more than anything else. And to be fair, Denis Villeneuve hasn't done like a big fight action set piece before, so like that makes sense. That it's not like perfect beyond perfect. But yeah, I think for what it is, I thought it was fine. Also, smaller one's better.
Real quick, what happened to Josh Brolin in this movie? Does he die?
Dies off screen, which is lame as fuck. Or he's not dead because that's how off screen deaths work.
We do not see what happens to Gurney Halleck in this movie.
Okay.
Could Diggins spoil it for me?
No,
I don't care.
I mean, I feel like that is spoiler enough, but either way, I was like, did I just lose track of this guy? Or was there a scene where he was where he was running into a thing, and then we saw that thing very clearly explode, and we were supposed to be like, oh, he is dead.
There are
just went right into a wood chipper.
There are two characters whose fate we do not see.
Who's the other one?
The other one's
the Baron.
No,
he's fine.
Duke Leto's mentat, Thafir Hawat.
Who that be?
Have to be a little more specific.
Yeah, he's the older kind of chubby dude with the tattoo mark on his lip.
Oh yeah, what's that actor's name?
Yes, he is a computer man, Nando. I didn't think that was entirely clear in the movie.
Well, he does that one thing where they're like, how far is it? And he goes, 50 million miles.
Yeah.
You're thinking this guy is, I'm looking at him on the IMDb, but I can't find him.
I know him from something, and it's like bothering me that I can't get there.
We did this after we watched it too. So is it Stephen McKinley Henderson. He's from Lady Bird. He's the priest who's like really sad. Remember? He like breaks down and cries in the little thing. He's in other stuff too. He's in Fences. I think he's the friend in Fences, if you've ever seen that.
Okay.
And he's in Lincoln as a character named William Slade, who I think is I'm pretty sure he's the guy that works at the house who's like, Mr. Lincoln, you want to go see your play? Here's your gloves for the play at the end of the movie.
Yeah. And he like looks fondly as he rides away. And it's like, he loves him. He loves him so much.
Don't let him be your friend, because otherwise you will get murdered. Those are the rules. Yeah. That's what happens at the end of Lady Bird, right?
Friends with chumps, as far as I'm concerned.
Pretty much. Lincoln, the ultimate chump. We all know it.
But is he the ultimate chump hunk?
He is not the ultimate chump. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter might be the ultimate chump.
He was tall as fuck, so like, where do you land on like tall and hunkiness?
Actually,
I know where Nando
was well considered, to the point that he often spoke about it in speeches, that he was considered wildly ugly.
What?
Crazy. Yeah. Insane. By whose standards?
By the standards of 1860s America.
No. Well, 1860s America can literally go fuck itself. I said it.
He's like that girl on Instagram that says she's like a big piece of pig slop or whatever.
Yeah. Just trying to catch that smoke.
President. It's like, no, you're a hunk. We get it.
Yeah. Come on.
Any other hunks? What do we think of the guy from Skyfall whose name I can never remember? Jesus, I'm so bad.
Javier Bardem, who plays Stilgar.
Bardem. Yeah, what do we think of Javier Bardem?
I mean, there wasn't that much of him. He's there for like a tiny bit.
Yeah, him
He's
like
got a little more than Zendaya.
Him like Zendaya as Chani is kind of more going to be a part 2 character.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's crazy how much Zendaya was over the marketing, given how little she's in this movie. Like, if you didn't know that was going to be a thing, you probably felt bamboozled.
Well, she is like in it a lot as like a symbol, as like a little vision. So I understand why you'd want to put her like on the poster and in the trailers. But yeah, she doesn't really do too much.
She also says the first words in the movie.
She does. She says,
"Hey, welcome to my planet, Arrakis.
Chunk, your dad's
it's
a chunk.
Real fracas."
Yeah. Who else is in here? We had
we didn't talk about Rebecca Ferguson that much. Yeah,
she was good.
Be fair. I thought she was great. I don't know if I'm like standing Rebecca Ferguson right now.
Well, I think she's like this. I don't know if you were expecting this going in, but like Lady Jessica is like the second lead of the story. You know?
Yeah, I had no idea going in, but I thought she was great.
I think she also kind of gives that gravity for like what's going on, understanding what the stakes are. I like how even when they're in like a very dire situation, like they're on the ship and they're about to get like dumped off or whatever, she's like, "You fucking up with the voice, man. Just do better. I think would be my advice. Do better."
I think my problem with her as a person is I couldn't figure out what her deal was, like what she was after.
Okay.
Which isn't a bad thing, but like on a rewatch, I think I'd enjoy her character more, and that's part of the charm. Is you're like she brings him into the room to get handboxed, and then she's like crying outside, and you're kind of like, does she want this? Does she not want this? Is she, what does she want?
I mean, I feel like no one enjoys having their son be handboxed.
Well,
that's just kind of a.
But
her main conflict is she's torn between her loyalty to the Bene Gesserit and her love for her family.
Right? Yeah. Like
it's a real Fast and Furious.
Bene Gesserit, she should just push him in and be like, "All right, hope you don't die." The end. But she's too caring. She's got too big of a heart.
Well, it's real Fast and Furious vibes. Family. Very important.
She's got this. She's got her fancy knife. She's got a lot of. She's being pulled in a lot of different directions. I liked how they did little fake sign language to each other. That was cute.
That was fun. I thought, oh God, I think the thing with this movie that really, I don't know, quote unquote, got me there in terms of like, fuck, this is like such a good experience, was like when he's explaining to her how to properly walk on the sand to avoid the sandworms, like that special walk, like just like little touches like that. So you kind of like remember what you are and know what's going on. Like, I think the performances add a lot to that, but it was just such a good part of the movie.
Well, I will say, the walk thing worked for me, too, because I feel like we got a lot of Paul in the beginning of the movie, and like most of it being like, "I don't want to go to Arrakis, Father. I would like to see the wonderful shore of whatever." And then when he's doing that, he's like, no, do it with this. You got to go. That one goes around. And like he felt like he's starting kind of to sound like a normal person.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I do remember that moment too.
He started as a little fancy lad who wanted his cakes and creams.
He did.
I think this is probably a credit to Denis Villeneuve, but the ability to take small moments and raise their importance as part of weaving this overall narrative. Again, a movie that I said, like an hour ago, nothing happens in this movie, is like what, like for me, keeps it like really interesting throughout and just like a good piece. And I think like the sand walks like a part of that. I think the Oscar Isaac rescuing the crew is part of that. I think the Duncan. I think the stuff with who's the woman who we learn's a friend and oh my God,
that's who I'm calling the judge, but I know she has a different name.
Okay, yeah, she's like their guide,
Dr. Kynes or Leet Kynes, depending on who you are asking.
# Leet Gamer. She's the coolest, Remember
pro gamer.
Used to say Leet. That was cool.
1337, baby.
Hell yeah!
Many moons ago. But yes, like I think a lot of her interactions do that. So yes, this is a good movie. It's such a good movie. That's why we're not talking about it, because this is one of those where it's like the movie's good. We're just gonna talk about other bullshit like Lightyear.
Hey! I want to talk about the fucked up spider person.
What is the deal with the fucked up spider person? I'm so confused about him.
I don't know. Original to the movie. I just want to talk about it.
Okay, that's a choice, huh?
I love it. I love the spider person. I want a whole movie about the spider person.
And a whole background. HBO Max miniseries about the spider person. We get the whole spider person verse.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, let's do it.
It fucks me up because they go out of their way to imply that it's a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what exactly do we see it do? What is its job?
It's like eating. It's like eating like an animal. Just in the corner. Just there.
Yeah. Because in the original movie, there are like weird monster things that the Harkonnens have. But it's not that. But it's like, it's a big old ugly worm guy. And I wasn't sure what the deal with that was, considering it does not show up in this. I like the guy, if we're talking about weirdos in the corner, I like the guy who's like, whose job is like theremin conductor of the army. That guy's fun.
Yeah, what's his job? Is he like the drummer boy equivalent from like the Civil War?
Well,
is that his deal?
They got him, and then they got the fucking bagpipe man on the other team.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's like some video game shit too. That shit you like. Those are units you have to build in Age of Empire to give your guys like a stat, like a speed and strength boost. Like they don't fight, but if you don't buy them, there's no way you'll win. Like that's what these guys felt like.
I'm glad.
Real support character energy.
I'm glad that 21,000 years in the future we still have bagpipes.
Yeah, and Idaho.
Very important. You're not gonna let the Idaho thing go, are you, Nando?
I mean, it's bizarre. It doesn't make any sense. Are bagpipes in the book?
No.
Oh man.
A balisette is.
What's that?
It's like a big stringed instrument. That huge thing that Patrick Stewart was carrying in that clip we were watching.
Oh, yeah.
What is the purpose of this?
To play music. It's an instrument.
Okay, why is he holding it? Just because? All right.
Because his character, Gurney Halleck, is actually a musician also. He's like a bard.
Is that important to his character? They have bards? That's cool.
Actually, it kind of is. The version of Gurney Halleck in this movie is much more dour than the Gurney Halleck in the book, who's kind of like a jokester, kind of a cheerful singing jokey man.
Yeah, that's not Josh Brolin. Diggins, come on, don't be silly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then maybe
what was I
they
gonna
should
say?
cast Josh Brolin. That's all I'm saying.
Cast Patrick Stewart again. He already knows the character, probably knows all the lines. You know, he's good to go.
That's true.
As far as I'm concerned.
That would be really cool if they just had like a thing where like it's like, what happened to you? I got lots of burns and scars, and I put on the magic hat that turned me into this bald man. Now I'm him. I sound British also, and then that was what we got. That'd be pretty good.
I'd be down with that.
I have an article here real quick. By contrast,
Okay.
House Atreides, a noble piece. This IndieWire. A noble piece about Paul's family was highlighted by bagpipes. That was Villeneuve's idea. As the Atreides family arrives for the first time on Arrakis, there's a bagpipe player in the background. I asked Denny, and I think he's talking to the person who's talking to is Hans Zimmer, because this article's about him. I asked Denny about it, and he said he wanted something ancient and organic for such an occasion, so I embraced it. The pandemic had just started, but lo and behold, within seconds in Edinburgh, I managed to find 30 bagpipe players who were more than happy to go into a big church and stand at the right distance from each other to make a fabulous noise.
That's amazing.
Incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's why you got the bagpipe guy.
God, I love Denny Villeneuve so fucking much.
Now, if he has the same story with theremins, and he's like, and I went into the bush in Australia and found 30 theremin men just playing their theremins around like an enormous stand. That'd
It's
be
so
pretty
organic.
great. Yeah, it's just how he finds his guys. It's really easy for him. He puts out like the little horn, like in, SpongeBob, and then whoever he needs just comes and finds him. Are there any other characters we haven't talked about that we should talk about?
The most important character.
Who's that, Diggins?
I want to talk about them worms.
Oh,
yeah,
we
right,
have
the
not
worms.
talked about the worm.
Desert power, as they were.
As they worm.
As they worm, yeah. What do you think about the worms?
Yeah, Diggins, what do you think about the worms?
If I lived on Arrakis, I would worship the worm.
Yeah.
As like your god. The worm is my god.
Yeah.
Forget any prophecies. The worm is here and the worm is real.
Yeah.
God
right.
is
It's like-
God is dead. I pray to the worm alone.
Have all these people that are like, who are you believe in? I believe in the Zizak Haderach. Is he one of the worms? No, he's just a guy. Well, fuck that. Is he gonna beat up the worm? Otherwise, who
man.
cares? Like,
Nando, you have no idea how funny the thing you just said is.
I can't wait.
Oh, now I want to know.
We'll find out.
You won't find out in any of these movies.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
then you just tell us.
It's
Well,
it's
no,
like
I don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah,
feel
No, if it's not.
I feel like it will spoil something.
It won't spoil any direct events. However, it will spoil that certain things would have to happen for this to be true.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. So no thank you. However, yeah, that movie's the worms look pretty cool. I like that they're just big sinkholes and then they're a big old worm later.
Do you think the worms cost more than the dragons from Game of Thrones to make?
I think they just found
Do you
real
think the
worms.
worms were really expensive?
Yeah, I think those are just
that-
regular worms.
Good for them.
And they just made really teeny tiny little guys, you know? Like little machines that look like little digging things, and then they just let the real worms eat them.
For real though, what do you guys think about the look of the worms?
I loved it. I thought it was really cool.
Pretty cool
Is that what you imagine, Diggins? Like based off, having read
Well,
what they would look like?
I feel like I read it at a point in my life where like giant sandworms in the desert has already become such a trope because of Dune.
Yeah.
That,
Sure.
I had in mind things that were already like derivations of the Dune sandworms because people have been making those for 60 years.
Like
That's fair.
SpongeBob.
Like SpongeBob.
Like
And
SpongeBob.
Beetlejuice, the two things.
Mm-hmm.
Very popular.
I've never seen Tremors. You guys seen Tremors?
I have a friend who loves Tremors, has seen almost every movie except for like the most recent ones that suck shit.
Yeah, I've heard that they have sandworms in them. I've seen a scene, but they seem much smaller.
They're called graboids in Tremors.
Ah, nice.
You gotta watch out for a graboid.
But no, I do think they have kind of the spiky like throat mouth of these ones is kind of like a new twist on it that I found very alien, which was good.
Yeah, if anything, they're like a walking sarlacc pit. Not like a walking, but like one that also moves around and stuff. But yeah, the teeth were pretty cool. It's like how like whales have those big old teeth that are just kind of hairs and all just interlock together, like a big old mouth.
I do think it's amazing that, when the worm is chasing Paul and Jessica, that they get to the rock and the worm's there. It's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then it hears a vibration. It's like, oh, gotta go. Like, like worm, like do your thing and then go. Do you have to go immediately when you hear a vibration? Like check this thing out.
Well, they are just animals. And also, I don't think they can see. So it probably suspected that there were things in front of it, but it didn't know.
Well, it feels like a cop in GTA or something where you like
Yes,
hide behind a like stop sign and then the cop turns around and goes, there's no one here to see. Like, I get that. I also feel like the worms kind of almost feel like Quiet Place monsters where it's like, I feel like if you were really trying to, it'd be a lot easier to avoid these things. Like that thumper that she puts in the ground, like gets the worm in like a second. It's so good.
Yeah.
Why do we ever have a problem with worms?
Just set those up in places and it's like, oh, good.
Well, if you're going to do
Worms
drilling, you definitely want to have a couple of them. And like, there's that one point where like the worm is 5 miles away. And it's just like, we'll put one of the fucking things down. I don't know.
Well, but then it will eat the thumper and then continue going for the vibration. Or maybe the thumper is not louder than a spice harvest machine.
I mean, that's probably true. But definitely like the thumper, I mean, yeah, big old thumpers. Like a thumper that you could put in the ground and then fly away on a helicopter and then fly to another place and have that helicopter go. I just feel like, I don't know, like I could kill an invisible man. I could corral all of the worms on Arrakis. Now that would probably fuck up Arrakis big time. But
oh yeah,
I mean
that's a spoiler, so I won't get into it. But killing the worms would be a very bad idea.
Yeah, I mean they spend a lot of money on trees where they really should be spending money on extra thumpers and stuff. But
that's true. Yeah. Is there any fallout from the fact that the trees were gone because they have been set fire to?
Well,
or is it just like whatever? They're
just a status symbol. They're like, look at how rich we are.
Well, no, the guy was like, these trees are really, really important.
Well, he was saying like that the people pray to them, kind of, or like see them as like there's some religious significance to them. The Fremen have, right? Am I crazy? I think that happens.
Nah, he's probably.
Well, important to know
read too much into that one
not every native person of Arrakis is a Fremen. The Fremen are only the people who live in the desert.
Oh. I did not pick up on that.
I did not pick up on that either. Way to go, movie.
How about the little suits? What do we think of their suits?
The still suits that let you drink your own pee?
Yeah, and sweat.
It's filtered pee.
And the water from your poo.
Yep.
And the water from your poo. They don't use the suits nearly enough because a lot of the times they just like have the mouthpiece like hanging out or whatever, and I'm like, guys, use the fucking suits.
Oh, that's what a cool person does. You know, it's like
it's
one
like one
strapping
shouldering a
versus two
backpack.
strapping a backpack.
Oh,
Exactly.
wow, Nando, we're
Yep.
like right there.
Yep, you want
right
to keep
there.
the mask off so they know you're cool.
Mask off, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
1984 in Dune, as far as I'm
like,
concerned.
yeah, you know, you might die of dehydration if you're not wearing your still suit, but also it's a symbol of Orwellian government control that I have to wear the mask, so I refuse to.
Yep.
Oh, I have a question, Nando, real quick for the worms. How did the worms look in the David Lynch Dune?
I feel like they, if I remember correctly, because I didn't get that far, but I've seen pictures of them. I think they look all stop motion-y. Am I crazy? I feel like...
I mean, it probably makes sense that they would be that.
I don't think they were as cool. But let me look up. Is there another name for them?
Shai Hulud.
There you go.
That's the name of the worms? Man, it's so different.
Oh, yeah. They look like little fucking... That's right. So they look more wormy, but instead of like
wormy,
I'm going to send you a clip. Now the title of the clip kind of, half spoils something that is very clearly going to happen in book 2, or movie 2. But you can kind of see this is a good look at a worm.
All right.
I don't like the look of them nearly as much. But yeah, they move kind of like stop motion special effects.
I love these two kids in the left, just like, we hate this so much.
Yeah.
Like, those kids do not want to be there.
Also, I should say, Shai Hulud is based on an Arabic term, Shai Hulud, which means thing of eternity.
Oh, that makes sense.
Many Fremen terms are based on Arabic words because, as I said, the Fremen are pretty much literally just the Bedouins.
I mean, like, I don't know, like writers do that shit all the time, right? They just like take a thing and then just make it a little different.
Yeah.
God, this movie looks so bad.
It's they were punching a little bit above their weight class in terms of like effects and green screens. Like in some points it's okay because it's just people in funny suits in the desert. Like it looks, sure, it could be another planet. But then they get on this worm, and even the worm as like a thing doesn't look too bad. But every so often there's a green screen shot that makes it look really like poor, which is a bummer.
Oh, that worm isn't coming.
Yeah.
Looks like it's gonna be the smallest worm of all time.
That's what you think. In fact, it is the biggest worm of all time. Well, not
so
anymore, but used to be.
How long is the first movie?
Very long.
3 hours.
Okay.
And it feels like it. This one, I think, has a sweet, hits the sweet spot in terms of pacing, where, things are always happening, and every scene is something kind of interesting. But the other one is just so much fucking sitting around. It's insane. And it's front-loaded with that, which is also bad. Like, at least this movie, you get a box thing quickly. The box is good. Then you're already on Arrakis pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And that movie, I feel like, I don't know if this is true because I'd have to watch them both side by side, but I feel like you get to Arrakis quicker in the Denis Villeneuve one than you do in the other one. Like, all of the videos he watches about Arrakis, he watches on the main planet. So I feel like the fact that he sees that stuff on Arrakis helps kind of move things along.
This worm doesn't look terrible, I'll be honest.
The worm itself looks okay. It's the shots of him next to it and in frames with it where it looks poor.
Yeah.
Like the compositing's just rough. And of course it's going to be, but also, hey, maybe don't make the Dune movie until you can make a cool looking one. But I mean, and I also feel like the Fremen suits you can see the difference between them, design wise and what we got now. And the now ones look pretty good. What was the coolest thing? Was it their ships that were dragonflies? Those are pretty cool.
Yeah, those were awesome.
The Ornithopters.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wait, what'd you call it, Diggins?
Ornithopter.
That's a name of a card in Magic the Gathering.
Oh.
Which makes sense. I think it's crazy that he didn't die when he was going through the storm. I get that you have to let go or whatever, but it's like Luke with the fucking proton torpedoes. You would have fucking missed, and these guys would have fucking died. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Wow, sounds like somebody doesn't believe in the Kwisatz Haderach.
Or the power of the Force.
I mean, there's just some things where it's like you're I get that it's a space future, but the information you're putting in front of me is like, no man, you fucking die here. But whatever. It's fine. This is my one nitpick. I don't have a lot of nitpicks. It's a fucking phenomenal movie. What do you want from me?
What other stuff did you like in it, DJ?
I liked I really liked how much the sets looked like familiar and alien at the same time, and how like the Harkonnen had their thing and Atreides had a thing and Arrakis thing, and it's like I said earlier, the way that Denny takes these small set pieces and weaves them into like a larger world, so it's like it feels so much bigger than it is. I think it's just like very good. Like when they kill Captain Atreides, when they kill Oscar Isaac, he's like at this like long dinner table and there's like 3 people in the room, but it's like the grandeur of it's like, I'm gonna kill you like in a really like really like bombastic and large way in terms of the setting. I just really like all those bits of it. Very good movie. 8 out of 10, something for everyone.
What'd you think of the bit where the guy's like, I betrayed you because they said they would let my wife go, and then they did that thing that every bad guy does?
Yeah, the punk move, man.
Yeah.
I've altered the agreement. Pray I don't alter it further.
Yeah.
In the book, it's actually made clear that Dr. Yue very well knows that that's going to happen. He just can't bear the thought that his wife might be being tortured forever.
Well, then, fucking buddy, do something about it that isn't, the wrong thing. Jesus, man.
I mean, I feel like at that point, you've only got 2 options, right? You are going to be poisoned. Or excuse me. Someone's going to get poisoning. Like, there's going to be a poisoning. If they don't pick you, they're going to pick somebody else. So, work with them. Hope maybe that they weren't being all cryptic and they're going to let your wife go or whatever. Or let the next guy do it and then you get stabbed in your sleep and then you lose. So, like, I get it. He also gave him the fancy tooth of poison, so at least he was handy. Like, he was helpful.
It didn't work, so...
It worked.
It
really
wasn't poisony
well
enough.
It got everybody in the room immediately.
Because the Baron can fly. That's the only reason it didn't work.
Yeah.
I thought it also didn't work because he's like a trash monster, so he's like, poison. This is a Tuesday for me.
Well, no, he flew up to the top, and then he went in the healing slime.
Yeah, that healing slime.
Movies are cool.
Something else. I don't know, what were your guys' favorite parts of the movie?
Every part with the worm in it.
All the stuff with Jason Momoa, but the fight scenes were good, but all the other stuff where he's just like, no, you're not coming to Iraq. Like, that shit is just, that always gets me. I don't know what it is about Jason Momoa. He's got a very friendly, like, older brother-y energy that just rules. I kept waiting for him or somebody to do a double cross, and none of them did. Like,
I mean, Dr. Yue did a double cross.
Right. But none of the main guys that were like, you're supposed to trust this guy. Isn't he trustworthy? Don't you like him? And then it was like, you see, you couldn't actually trust him. No, all of them are cool. They were all nice and well-meaning, and they got taken for a ride.
I have a question for Diggins.
Yes?
How many houses are there? Are there like a ton of houses?
There's a bunch. You don't get a concrete number.
Okay, so... It just so happens that Atreides gets the short end of the stick here.
Well, there's a reason, but it would be a spoiler to tell you.
Okay. Well, I think that House Atreides should not have answered the call and should have just been like, yo, fuck you and your fucking piece of shit Emperor bullshit. We're not answering the call. Come fight me, you dick. I got the best fighters ever. We have refrigerators for fighting machines. You can't break us, so fuck you.
But then the Emperor can go to the rest of the nobles and be like, hey man, I was being all nice to the Duke. I tried to reward him with like literally the most important planet in the universe, and he spit in my face. So you guys wouldn't care if I go fucked him up, right? And they'd be like, well, I guess not. I mean, that sounds pretty bad.
I mean, I wonder if they care that he got fucked up anyway. That's all I'm saying.
Does House Atreides... Like, are they killing it before this all happened? And if so, why? Like, what is their export pre-spice?
I don't know exactly what the Atreides economy is like.
Are we supposed to assume they are rich?
They are doing quite well as a house, yes.
Okay, cool. So they have like a diamond mine or something.
Yeah.
Classic diamond mine.
Diamond mine or, factories full of child labor, putting out cheap goods, something,
Oh, I love those so much.
Bitcoin, maybe they got rich on Bitcoins.
The Atreides crypto mining rigs line the planet of Caladan.
Oh man, what if that was it? What if it was just NFTs? As far as the eye can see.
Cryptocurrency would be way funnier in the Dune universe because, this is something the movie doesn't bring up, but computers do not exist. They did exist, but they were been banned centuries ago for reasons that are not important to get into right now.
Too much porn.
Yeah, porn.
How do they watch their porn?
So all computing is instead done by mentats like Peter DeVries and Thufir Hawat.
Right.
Men who have received special training and special mind-altering substances so that they become human computers. So Bitcoin mining rigs in the Dune universe would be a bunch of dudes in a room thinking about math.
Wait. So this guy could hypothetically bust into a house and say, "Yo, all your internets, I'm a computer." That could be him.
I'm a computer.
Yeah, stop all the downloading.
It's Diggins' Vin Diesel impression.
Yeah, he's back, baby. I had a question. I forgot what it was. Something about computers. Oh, computers. Oh, no. Something I liked. That scene where he caught the little bug was cool because of the thing that apparently isn't a computer, but is pretty much just a VCR projector. And how he was walking through it. That was cool. Remember that?
Cool. Yeah. That was cool.
That's good cinematography. That might be on the Oscar reel. I feel like when I watched this movie, I could see all of these scenes as and Rebecca Ferguson as Lady whatever, and then the scene with her crying with her son, and that's that feels about right for Oscars.
Oh yeah, I totally get it.
I think they're doing it.
We'll find out in 4 months, roughly.
Yeah. This is going to be a weird year for that.
It's going to be a super weird year.
Well, there are some good movies, though.
Do you think that it'll be a shortened consideration period, or will movies that counted for the last Oscars and because they came out January to March will also count for these ones?
That would be fucking bananas.
Why wouldn't they? Or why would they?
Well,
because that's the normal.
Because normally it's everything that came out in the previous year, 2021. But part of 2021 counted for the last Oscars. So does that part of 2021 not count for these next ones, or what?
So you're saying those movies would get another shot?
I mean, what I'm saying is either way, it feels weird.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question. I feel like they'd have to leave them out. I feel like you get one shot, but then maybe
one
that would be given Dune.
Would you take it,
exactly.
Or would you just let it slip?
But yeah, I feel
I'd let it slip. Yeah, for sure.
There's enough movies French Dispatch and Dune.
Also starring our man Timmy Chow's.
That's true. Titanic, the one you said. The Injustice cartoon. There's so many good movies this year that it's I feel like there will be enough. Green Knight was this year, maybe. I don't know how that works, if that counts. Lamb. There's some solid movies this year. So I think they've got enough. Dear Evan Hansen, Snake Eyes was this year. Home Sweet Home Alone hasn't come out yet, but looks great. Yeah, I think there'll be plenty of movies. I think if there was no Dune, here's something. I think there's a slot usually that exists in award shows. That's the prestige movie turned, Oscar movie. And I think maybe if it wasn't for Dune, Matrix could, if it was good, take that spot. But because of Dune, I don't think Matrix will get it.
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
We'll find out.
Okay. What was I going to say? Anything else about Dune?
I think I'm good on Dune. I think everyone should go see it, either movies or HBO Max, whatever you're more comfortable with. But I think there are parts that the cinematic experience probably, it would lend itself to. Mostly the worms.
There are a lot of worms in it.
Not as many as you'd think, though. There could have been more worms.
Here's what I was expecting: one worm, and we got 3. That's a pretty good worm.
That's fair.
Those worms are probably really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to say that I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Because where the fear is gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain.
That sounds like something that would be crazy. If that just showed up in Christianity, you'd be like, oh, this is a cult. It's much worse somehow. Not that maybe it already is a cult, but you never know. But that seems like plain old cult speak. But hey, maybe the Bene Gesserit evil space witches, maybe they're not the cool guys we all thought they were. I don't know.
The eugenics space witches?
Yeah, maybe they're not the good guys. I will retain judgment until the third one of these. I think we got the second one. Do you guys think we'll get the third one? Do you think it's just kind of a foregone conclusion at this point?
As long as the second one's still good.
Those chips are cashed. I'm convinced. Like they probably have so many of these guys signed to like multi-movie contracts. Like Timothée Chalamet is locked up for sure.
Yeah, I feel like if the next one gets some Oscar noms, then it's a guarantee we get all three. I don't even think it has to win. I think it just has to get nominations.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
All right, you guys want to get to our classic segment?
Yeah, love to.
Let's do it. Anybody have anything to recommend to the fine people? DJ, what about you?
Yeah, I have something to recommend. Something we all did over the weekend.
Whoa.
Havana syndrome. No, I want to recommend this game we played that I like really took a shine to. So it's called Chart Party.
Oh yeah.
I really really like this game. I was explaining it like to some friends. It's like, oh, this sounds like fun, and it's like one of those like random games you'd probably see in like Target or Walgreens or like any of those kind of things in like the party game section. But it's what I would call like a Cards Against Humanity style game where there's one person judging it and everyone trying to like make them and the rest of the group laugh. But what's interesting is the way this works is that you're given on like an index card a graph where on the x-axis you have something like year 1940 to 2020s, or the one that's like seared inside my brain is like toxic masculinity from Mr. Rogers to like frat house boy. And then you have a line that, you know, shows the path of that x-axis. So maybe it's just like a straight line going up, maybe it's like a sine wave, maybe it's a U, maybe it's a line going straight down, maybe it's a line going straight across, and then you in your hand have a bunch of cards that describe the y-axis. And then so it's like the like classic one of the night was if you had like the toxic masculinity from Mr. Rogers really low to frat boy really high, or like flipped, like whatever, and then like you would have a card you would play where it's like, oh, like respect for women. And it's like, oh, obviously the frat boy's low, but Mr. Rogers is really high. Anyway, all this is a way to say it's like a clever party game where it's like, it's not like Cards Against Humanity where you just play like the, big dick and sweaty balls in a Koso. And it's like everyone laughs and it's like, oh, it didn't even make sense with the card. But with this, you kind of have to like think about what you have makes sense with the graph to like make everyone laugh and stuff like that. And I had a good time with it. I thought it was really fun. Our friend Lorenzo had it. I'd like recommend he bring it at any time just because I loved it so much. And if you're looking for like a party game to play with your friends that isn't Cards Against Humanity but gives that same vibe but isn't as like gross kind of, because I think sometimes the point of Cards Against Humanity is just to be gross, but this is more to just be kind of clever and funny. I think it does that really really well. So it's called Chart Party. I'm sure it's on like Amazon or whatever. I'm gonna go on Amazon right now and see if it's there. But this feels like one of the games where like you go into a Target and you would see it with the rest of the party games and Cards Against Humanity, and it is on Amazon. You get it on Amazon. So yeah, that's all I got.
Cool. Yeah, game was fun. I like that game. Out of all of the Cards Against Humanity clones, it's probably the best one that I've played.
Yeah, I think it is like that element of like having to be creative.
I think you mean
with it.
The apples to apples clones.
That's true. Yeah,
that's true. They're all apples to apples clones. The first bullet on this is one of the most fun party board games for adults. Recently named by the Daily Dot as the #1 game to play when you're sick of Cards Against Humanity.
That's cute. I do think also this game has a lot of like more than Cards Against Humanity. It's not quite as like when it's like Harry Potter's dick, right? Everybody knows what that means. But this one, you get to go like, well, you see, my chart is actually correct because this curve means this guy. So like, I feel like there's a little bit more there in terms of like interpreting and making the case for your stupid card. So I like that bit about it.
I will say it has really bad SEO because there's a YouTube series done by John Boyce that was called Chart Party, which is immediately what I thought of when I saw the thing. So if you Google Chart Party, you'll never find this game. You got to go on like Amazon or something.
Good thing
like
it's called Charty Party.
It should be Charty.
Wait,
is it really?
It is Charty Party, DJ. Look at the listing.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Charty Party. My bad. In that case, it has incredibly good SEO.
Wow, they fixed it in just 1 second. They got it.
They had your feedback, DJ, and they acted on it.
Boom. Also, apparently they have an all ages edition, so you can play with kids. So that's fun.
Interesting. I don't even know is there anything that wouldn't be that?
The first graph is they have like bar graphs. Oh, this is so fun. So like one of them is number of people on a video call, and I'm like, God damn, was this made like during the pandemic? And then the other one is age of teacher. That's the other example.
Huh.
So
interesting.
I'm sure that can't be inappropriate. Number of people on an elevator. Didn't we get that one?
We did.
Anyway,
We did get that one. All right, cool.
So,
Diggins,
yeah.
you got anything to recommend?
Yeah, I got a couple quick ones here. First of all, last week I had recommended Raw, the movie by Julia Ducournau. And after that recording, I went out and saw one of the last showings of her new movie, Titan, which is French for titanium. So I wanted to give that a quick rec because that is also a great movie that is very, very difficult to watch. This one is about a woman who is a serial killer who has to go into hiding because of all the crimes she did, and decides to do so by pretending to be the long-lost son of a man who's been missing for 10 years. Also, early in the movie, she may or may not have had sex with a car and gotten pregnant.
wait, what?
Yeah, don't worry
Lightning
about that.
McQueen or a different one?
You know,
Or
it
Maiden.
could be Lightning McQueen. You know?
It should be. As far as I'm concerned, it is.
Nothing in the movie suggests it isn't Lightning McQueen. Anyway, that's about as good a description as I could give you of the plot, which, as you might imagine, is a little wild.
Sounds
It
cool.
kind of starts at the level of intensity that Raw ended at, which is something. Very, very much a like sophomore feature in that Raw is very tightly focused about this one thing, whereas Titan feels a lot more expansive. Like, it feels like a lot of thematic ground is being covered about people's relationship with their bodies and the prison of the human body, the ways it can fail us, but then also the ways in which other people can help us to find the ways in which we can be comfortable in our bodies. It's a lot of different things, and it's weird and fucked up, and at times very difficult to watch in a body horror sense. But I don't know, man. Her movies have just so imaginative and so weird that I really, really dig them. So I think it's already available on VOD. You'd have to like pay to rent it, but you can do that, I believe. So if you want to see Titan, go ahead. If you checked out my rec of Raw already and liked that, definitely watch Titan. Then also, just yesterday, finally, the launch of I have wrecked the work of Tim Rogers and his Action Button YouTube series before. He just yesterday finally released his 10-hour-long review of Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's wild.
What's his verdict? It's bad?
Actually, it's a little more nuanced than that.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't want nuance.
there's one thing he says in the beginning that is also something I think he says in part 4, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I feel like that's about as close as I can get to an opinion of what he thinks of it, but it's a complicated game.
There are two very explicit sections called What I Liked About the Game and What I Didn't Like About the Game. So I feel like if you want solid opinion, you can jump to those sections.
That's true. I mean, I think, DJ, you gotta watch it. I've only watched
10
the first
hours
one.
is...
Well, but
So if you
watch the first one, I think you'll get it.
It's divided up into 8 parts. Here's what I'll say, DJ. Watch the first part. It's an hour.
Okay.
And then decide what you're going to do.
Who's the guy who did this? What's his name?
Tim Rogers.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Everything I've said about him before applies to this one. It's this like wildly expansive, like incredible deep dive, so like insanely thoroughly researched mix of opinions, personal reflections, like actual reporting, loads upon loads of context for the environment in which the game exists and was released. his own personal experiences, just this incredible melange of like every single angle you could conceivably come at a game from. And they're always fascinating. They're always very funny. He has a great sense of comedic timing with his editing. And also a very strange way of speaking.
Yeah. Very, what's the word? Like loquacious or something like that. He's got, and just an interesting, like voice character kind of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, if you follow that rec of mine before and watch some of his videos and like them, this is the longest and densest one yet. So I would definitely check it out. And if you're skeptical, do the thing I just said DJ should do. Watch the first part, which is an hour, and is the only thing you can find listed on YouTube right now, for reasons that will become clear after you watch it. And then see how you feel.
Paywall?
No,
paywall?
It's not a paywall. It's all free. So yeah.
But there's only one on YouTube that's an hour and 6 minutes long, but I can't see where the rest are.
Just
if you watch the video, you'll understand. And see how you feel. If you feel like bailing out after that hour, then bail out after that hour. It's fine. You don't have to watch it.
And I do think there's part of me that was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, as you start watching it, and you're like, where's this going? And then, but this part you're watching is still pretty interesting. His story of his life, pretty much. But then when you get to the other stuff, then it makes sense, and it's all of the rest of the build-up is important. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna read this. This is in the description. This video is absolutely not intended to watch in one sitting. As always, we strongly encourage you to consider this a video miniseries. For optimal enjoyment of this review, we recommend following the instructions given in this instruction chapter.
Yes.
I will say, I did not watch it in one sitting. I've watched 2 hours of it so far, and I'm already loving it.
Okay. I think I'm going to do it. Because I'm fascinated by a game like I started and gave up on because it became too frustrating to play. And it killed me because I fucking love The Witcher. So, yeah. Pain.
Those are my recs. Yeah. Nando, do you have anything for the fine people?
Yeah. I was going to say, I am an hour into this, but I'm ready to wreck that as well, the Cyberpunk review. And I've never played Cyberpunk or, don't have any affinity for any of that, but it just seems like a very interesting case study. Can
I tell you? Video's making me kind of want to play it.
Oh.
I believe it. From the first hour, I can see it. It sounds interesting. And, I feel like the problem with it originally was just it wasn't a finished game and they didn't deliver on promises, but it's been a while, so who knows? Maybe they fixed it.
Yeah, I feel like it might be at a point where if you come at it with either a next-gen system or a good enough computer and you know what you're getting into, now that the hype machine is dead, you could probably have a pretty good time with that game, I imagine.
I think that's true.
Apparently, the best way to play it was on Stadia because it's just streaming, right? It's not based on hardware.
Yeah.
It was the least amount of bugs were on Stadia. Also, those bastards are delaying the next gen upgrades, so that's also super fun. Thanks, guys.
DJ's thanked you. Isn't that nice? So I would recommend that. I would also recommend, but my main recommendation this week is because I have one interest and it dominates my life. I played the Guardians of the Galaxy game, the one that they made that's like Mass Effect but silly, and it's great. It's very, very good. It's the best version of that game I can possibly imagine. It's an interesting mix of traditional Star-Lord and traditional Guardians mythology, and then this new movie Guardians of the Galaxy that we've kind of created. But I think I said this before to you guys. It definitely feels like it takes from a series called War of Kings. So just from the context clues things character said, in this story, Drax has killed Thanos already. There was a big Kree-Skrull, well, not Kree-Skrull war, but there was a Kree war that happened, and so it's not quite the Guardians universe, but it also the movie universe, but it also does things the movies do that the cartoons don't really do. A lot of his backstory or his comics don't do. A lot of his backstory seems like it's written pretty clearly based off of what they did in the movies. A lot of it comes from the fact that everything's a bazillion needle drops, and there are real songs in it. I had it on streamer mode when I played the first 2 hours, but then the second 2 hours that I played, I took that off so I played it myself, and you can Wham and Iron Maiden, like people like that were big in the 80s. Like they all show up. So it's pretty fun. And there's some mechanics in there that are pretty funky and unusual, and they're entertaining. I like the character designs. I like the Gamora a lot. I like the Drax a little bit. I think Drax has a weird face. And then I think the Rocket and Groot are perfect. I wish they did this with Groot now, where he has a dedicated like backpack harness that he wears that just Rocket can climb onto, and it's almost like a little like pedestal for Rocket to do his business on. It's like that makes a lot of sense. And I feel like our Groot has been thoroughly nerfed in the Marvel movies, where it's like he's a teenager now, but like if he ever gets back to being adult Groot, just cover him with shit like this because it's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. Voice acting is terrific. And the writing is really good. Really, really solidly written game. So I think people will like it if they enjoy, like, it's not really Mass Effect style gameplay in terms of being like the kind of shooter that Mass Effect is. It's a lot more of like I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like it's very arena-y, where like you get dropped into a room with a bunch of enemies, and there's like 20, like maybe 10 of them, and you and the Guardians have like different powers you can combo together to kill them. But the parts of it where you're just walking around and talking and stuff are very good. Yeah, so I'd recommend that. I haven't finished it obviously, but I'm getting there, and I don't know how long the game is, but it's covering a lot of ground, so I think it's gonna get to a good amount of stuff. Yeah, besides that, no new comics. New Son of Kal-El this week, new Nightwing, lots of good stuff I'm excited to read. New Inferno. So yeah. Next week, what are we doing?
That's a great question, okay. Nando.
Yeah.
Do we want to do Last Night in Soho? Do we want to do Halloween Kills?
Do we want to do Needle in a Time Stack?
I hear Halloween Kills is a mess. I don't know if you guys have heard this too.
I have also heard Halloween Kills is a mess. So it's like, do we want to do that mess?
Is there a Netflix movie or something coming out soon? I think there's some...
Oh, I'm sorry. I know what we need to do, guys. Army of Thieves.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's true. That is coming out. I was thinking, when's that one with The Rock where they're all standing next to each other on the poster looking like cool guys? When's that come out?
Not until December. The Netflix one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't even heard that this like Army of Thieves is coming out this Friday.
You're right.
How is this possible?
I know.
Isn't it like weird. A short film or something? It's not a full movie, is it?
No, it's 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
2 hours, 7 minutes.
I was super wrong. Ignore me.
You know what?
Oh, this would be my vote. We could put up a poll.
Here's what...
The people will never trust our polls again, DJ. Let's be real with ourselves.
But the polls are the bit now. That's here. I got the trailer. This looks so fun
for Army of Thieves. You have the trailer.
Yeah.
I know what it is. It's like a heist movie where
but
that's it.
Yeah, that is just it. I mean, I can't believe it's 2 hours.
Here's my vote.
Okay,
and go with me on this.
All right.
King Arthur: Legend of the Sword, the one from 2016. Now, the only reason is, for some reason, it is number one on Netflix's top movies of today. I don't know why, but maybe the public is getting King Arthur fever.
Oh God, this is the Charlie Hunnam one.
Yep. The Guy Ritchie King Arthur movie.
Yep. I know there's like monsters in it and shit, but I don't know. It's probably stupid. All
right, so Diggins, what's your vote?
Obviously, Needle in a Time Stack.
Right.
Okay.
Have we heard anything about that? Because that's been out. Do we know? Anybody's seen it?
I haven't heard a single thing about it. It's probably boring.
So here's what we do. Here's what I think we do.
Well, wait. Hold on. Let's actually think about this. Are there things that come out in December that we want to start doing promo for? Like, obviously, we have because we have Eternals in November, we have a couple November things, but then December it's got be Spider-Man and Matrix.
We could do Spider-Man 1 and 2, or the Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2.
We should do the Matrix movies because those second two get so weird. Yeah.
I would rather just do 2 and 3, because I feel like a mostly nitpicking episode on the first Matrix is going to be boring, because I'm just going to be like, this is a perfect movie, and anyone's wrong for having an opinion that's not a perfect movie. Every part of this is perfect. And then we could talk about 2 and 3.
We could also do, because,
I mean, 1 is great, but it's also a pretty silly movie.
How dare you? I'll fight you.
I mean, it's silly in a good way, but it is silly.
Also, so Eternals is November 3rd. We're obviously going to be doing that week. The week after that is Ghostbusters, so we could do a Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, Stranger Busters. I'm ready, baby.
Yeah. I've heard.
So I mean, if we were gonna
things.
do any, it'd be Ghostbusters 2
or Ghostbusters 2016.
Oh, do we want to touch that hornet's nest?
That's a lot of smoke.
I've
That's a lot of
seen
smoke.
It's bad.
I've seen it. It's fine.
Here's what I'll say about it. The lore of it is insane. Not the lore, but like the universe it exists in is insane. Also, so I'm looking at this now. Ghostbusters Afterlife is apparently a week after Eternals. So, or like there's a week between Eternals and Ghostbusters, which makes sense. Why would you put them out like a week after each other? So if we wanted to, we could do a Ghostbusters after Eternals and then still have time for Ghostbusters. But then, so we got Resident Evil in November 24th, House of Gucci and Encanto. So we could do any of those. And then nothing. And then West Side Story after that. And then Spider-Man and Matrix and Kingsman. So there's quite a few movies we could do as lead up.
This is tough. I say we put out a poll of movies that are lead up movies and Spy Kids 3D.
Okay.
You know what will win.
Matrix.
I mean,
all right, then we can leave Spy Kids 3D.
matters-
If we want to do an actual poll, like now the bit is we will listen to you. We leave Spy Kids 3D off the poll.
No, well,
Yeah, I
you
feel
know,
like we can't do Spy Kids 3D.
peek behind the curtain. Many of those polls were real polls until, the poll ended and someone else came up with something else that we wanted to watch. And we were like, what if we did that instead of what we said on this poll?
That's true.
Or what if we did the worst rated movie on this poll because people really wanted us to do it? Cough, cough, Chris Pratt movie, Tomorrow War.
Yeah.
He's so cool.
Well, that was
that's
because
the thing with
Alex really pushed how stupid it was, and I got kind of won over, and so did Nando,
Yeah,
and so we ended up doing it.
a couple people in my orbit were like, this movie's really, really dumb. And then I saw it and I was like, yeah, this has to be a podcast one. I mean, I feel like maybe it is time for Matrix or Spider-Man. I don't know. This is tricky.
All right, here's the options. Matrix 2/3. We'll figure it out. Amazing Spider-Man 2, because that one's a mess.
Well, we've done that one, haven't we?
Have we really? Oh, God.
We've done a
Wait,
couple
hold
of
on.
the Spider-Mans.
Did we? I don't think we did Amazing Spider-Man 2 for this podcast. We did it for
I think it might have been
for a different podcast.
I think we did it for this podcast, too. I'm not positive about this, but actually I can search.
Yeah, I'd have to go in the archives. We did it. We did Amazing Spider-Man 2.
We did
So
it in the sense that I was there for that pilot also. So there wouldn't even be a new take.
This was 2019.
Yeah.
So we've done, here's the ones we've done. We did Spider-Man 3, Far From Home, Amazing 1, and Amazing 2, Into the Spider-Verse, Venom. So I think we'd have to start on the Maguire 1 and 2, but that's the only Spider-Man we have to mind.
I changed my mind. I think we do Matrix 2.
Do we not want to do Matrix 1 before? I know what you were saying, but I feel like, I don't know.
I just don't know how much there is there, to nitpick.
Yeah.
And you can't do all three in one.
I rewatched it a few weeks ago, and again, it's a great movie. It is a silly movie.
Matrix 1?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, silly, 90s Blade, rave, cyber, whatever the fuck that's called, is awesome. And but that ages in a very, silly way.
I guess the reason I'm fascinated by 2 is one is this whole complete movie that's great and shouldn't have been touched, and then 2 happened, and then the direction is it goes in is wild, wild.
Yeah. It's tricky.
Do we put out a poll with just all 3 Matrix movies and that's it? Pick the Matrix movie that we do.
I mean,
and then 4th King Arthur, because I'm really being swayed by King Arthur. You
might
said it,
be
and I
interesting.
cringed, but I'm coming around to it. What if we did do King Arthur?
Let's be honest with ourselves. This podcast is cringe.
Well, and also let's be honest with
But
ourselves.
cringe is good, Diggins. We've been over this.
Maybe
Cringe is
King
not good,
Arthur's
but
the most
cringe
watched-
won.
Okay.
Well, and maybe King Arthur's the most watched movie this week, today, but in a week it could be completely different. Also, when does the Clifford movie come out? Excuse me? That's
Sometime
coming
in
out
November.
10th. Oh, sweet. We gotta do that.
We gotta.
Also, there's the House of Soho movie.
Yeah.
Last Night in Soho.
We could do that. I mean, I'm definitely gonna see it. I don't know if I'll see it this weekend because it's also Halloween, but maybe.
All right, here's what I think we put on the poll. And then the poll is just a placeholder until we decide how to make our fans happy or mad.
Okay.
So we got King Arthur, whatever, Charlie Hunnam, I'll find the name. We got Matrix 1, I'll put Army of Thieves. I'll put that one down. What else? What else do you guys want me to put down? I think you get a max
Dave
of 4
Chappelle,
or
the
5.
closer.
No.
I mean, we could do a Spider-Man. We could do Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, I'll put down Spider-Man 1.
That's a movie. We could do Last Night in Soho. Wait, did you put that on the list?
All right, then Last Night in Soho.
Let's do Last Night in Soho as like a list one, because maybe.
All right. So those 5. I'm gonna put those 5 on a poll right now, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, cool.
So,
anybody got anything to plug, DJ?
Check out Resident Rejections on the Pop Break podcast feed. As always, thank you.
Cool. Diggins, what about you? Anything to plug?
I've got my newsletter, alittleperspective.substack.com, and I stream at twitch.tv/thisisanodname. I did another stream with my friend Bridget playing more of Deltarune Chapter 2. I think we're getting close to the end there. We're still working out when the third one of those is going to be, but we're definitely continuing.
Cool. How do you like Deltarune so far?
It's great. I mean, did you ever play Undertale?
I've watched people play Undertale. I never played it myself.
It is definitely like I'm not going to say it's better than Undertale, but it's like this is made by a person who made Undertale and has improved their skills since then, if that makes sense.
Nice. Oh yeah, absolutely. Cool. I have a video coming out probably soon on the zombie movie, on the Marvel zombie thing. It's my Halloween episode video thing. But then also I was streaming the Guardians game. I might do that again soon, but also I'm going to be pretty busy with videos and stuff coming up at the end of October. Cause yeah, got a lot of stuff. And then after that, we'll be talking about Eternals. So that will dominate everything. So maybe I will stream at twitch.tv/NOVmovies, tomorrow, the Guardians of the Galaxy game. And yeah, that's it.
Hey guys, really quick, you're only allowed 4 options. So do I leave out Last Night in Soho?
What are the 4 we have now without
King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, The Matrix, Army of Thieves, and Spider-Man.
I think we drop Spider-Man for Last Night in Soho.
All right, love it.
Because I feel like Spider-Man 1 has been talked to death, but also, we'll have time for that later.
That's fair. All right, the tweet is out. So fans, all right, what's our instructions to the fans so we know who actually listened?
Okay.
Vote for what? Okay.
Do we want like the second most voted thing to be the winner?
I kind of just want it to be the one that gets the most votes. We actually do.
I think we should say it's that because no one will believe us anyway.
That's
fair.
I feel like we say that, and then at the end, it's like maybe if we change our mind, we'll change our mind. But we will very much try maybe to do that one. I don't know.
Yeah, let's go with it.
I'm really looking forward to Last Night in Soho, though, even though it's getting okay reviews. It looks so cool.
Anything with Anya Taylor-Joy, I'm in 1,000,000,000,000%.
And like lots of shots where somebody does a twirl and then they turn into a different person, and it's seamless.
Yeah.
The editing is just amazing. And also Matt Smith looks like a weirdo. So it seems cool. Also needle drops like we all know and love. Cool. All right. It's everything is in the poll's hands. And until then, I'm at NandoVMovies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Woohoo!
Bye. We love you.